Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rent asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on.
Hello, what's up? Welcome everybody. It's me, Pixel. We are Ages of Ainur, and I am here to present to you this evening the unbelievable, the actually getting into the thick of it, action-packed second episode of Ages of Ainur presents the Regent of Bedegar. So we are back again once more with our bevy of Bedegarian adventurers, and super excited for the next episode of this follow-up campaign to the Siege of Castle Rend. If you've missed the Siege of Castle Rend, don't fret. You can watch all of that on our past episodes on YouTube, but you also don't have to have watched that to enjoy this. And you're catching us at the second episode, so there's not much that you've missed so far, so feel free to stick around. But you can, if you would like, if you enjoy what you see, go back and watch the rest of it. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. As always, I am going to jump into the game in a few minutes, but we do have our usual housekeeping things. So, first things first, folks, when we move on to map screens in the stream, you are seeing the DM perspective. So, try not to spoil anything. You may see things that are obviously secrets or hidden doors or, enemies they can't see, stuff like that. Try not to spoil those things because our cast may be hanging out with you guys in chat, and we don't want to ruin their fun by accidentally telling them all the cool stuff that they don't know about. Furthermore, we want you all to remember that D&D is a complex game with a lot of rules, where we are also improvising a story together in real time as a group. So I may play fast and loose with the rules sometime, or I may change things in the adventure, or I may forget stuff and have to make it up, yada, yada, yada. So just try to remember that. Don't lose your mind about it. We're doing our best. Thirdly, we want to keep this space as open and welcoming as we can to the extent that that's possible on the internet. So we do try to keep that internet toxicity to a minimum. So we won't be putting up with anyone being abusive or hateful in chat, whether that's to other viewers or players on stream, regarding anything from character choices to knowledge of the game or rules, or frankly anything else about them. As always, doubt that's going to be a problem here. Never really is, but we do like to remind everyone how we roll. And then another reminder, we do release the show on YouTube and on our podcast after each episode during the following week. So if you happen to miss an episode or miss part of it, again, don't fret. You can still catch that after the fact if you need to be caught up. To catch us next time, we will be live. And then last thing, of course, before we get started, I would like us to go around and cast. If you would please introduce yourselves and your characters this time, now that we know who they all are, and remind us whether or not you have any chat inspiration before we begin. And we will begin, in fact, with Bonus Mom.
Hey there, kiddos. I'm Bonus Mom. You can pretty much find me anywhere out there, from TikTok to Twitch to podcasting. Yes, going to be finishing up Bram Stoker's first 4 chapters of Dracula this week, and beginning Alice in Wonderland in November. I do not have any inspiration, but in spite of that, I'm feeling rigorous and ready to go. And so is Perdita.
Excellent. Very great. Kyla.
Hey, pals. I'm Kyla. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm super excited to be here. And I'm going to be playing Chanterelle, or Shanty, who is one of our bards in the party and also a druid. And I am lacking chat-spiration, unfortunately, but inspired otherwise.
Excellent. Daniel.
My name's Daniel. It's nice to be here with this lovely, fine group of people. I will be playing Solomon, an Oath of Vengeance Paladin, and I do not have chat inspiration.
Awesome. Beast.
Hey folks, it's Beast here, and I will be playing Raz Hiskers, the Tabaxi Valor Bard. And I'm glad you're here.
And do you have chat inspiration?
I do not have chat inspiration.
I think basically everyone used it to try to get through that last warfare battle, which was a real nail biter, if I'm remembering correctly.
It was a grind.
And of course, Jesse.
Oh, my mic. Hey everyone, I'm Jesse. I am the Hokage of the Village Hidden in the Memes. I'm always, I'm happy to be here. I will be playing Silas, the blade singing wizard. Today I am dressed as my barbarian thing for a Halloween party, but the more I look at it, the more I think I look like Jack Black from Brutal Legend. But yeah, I am inspired by chat, so thank you very much. Happy to be here.
In the end of time, there was a bard who knew the road. Anyway, Taylor.
Hey friends, I'm Taylor. I play Enna, the Wood Elf Cleric, and so excited to be back, and happy Halloween.
Huzzah! Excellent news.
Oh, and I do not have any chat inspiration.
Very good. Well done. Thank you. And I am Pixel, and I am, as always, dressed as your dungeon master this evening. That's all I could really muster. But I run your games here on the Ages of Ainur Twitch stream. You can also find me running games and administrating our Ages of Ainur Discord, where we have lots of folks who like to play Dungeons & Dragons. We've actually just onboarded a couple more new DMs, and we have some new players, so we're really excited to see some more stuff getting started over there soon. Very exciting. And I also run our Curse of Strahd game, which happens on alternating Fridays with our friend Vincent Page and some of his crew. So that's a great time. The next episode of that, just a scheduling heads up if you're listening right now, the next episode of that will actually be on the 29th. So next Saturday instead of next Friday, just due to a scheduling conflict with one of our cast members, which leaves me open. We maybe do something for next Friday. We may not. I don't know. We'll see if we can get it together or not. Anyway, you also can find me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel, where I stream games and talk about games as literature, you know. I play Final Fantasy II and try to decide who the Empire with all the evil Dark Knights is. Spoiler alert. You probably know who it is. Anyway, and things of that nature. So you can definitely check that out if you're interested. And as always, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, when last we left our heroes, it has been 9 months since the events of Sir Peloton's assault on Castle Rend. Soren and Farron have returned to various lands whence they came to see to their own adventures. And our ragtag band of rat catchers turned noble court at Castle Rend have bolstered their ranks with some new faces. These past 9 months have been spent mustering what troops they could, reaching out to possible allies, and training themselves, and rebuilding Castle Rend in preparation for what we all know is coming. War. Following the defeat of Sir Peloton at Castle Rend, Count Silas returned Peloton's head, and whatever it was that was living in it, to the Gibbet Square in Bedegar Keep. Between that and the seizure and rebuilding of Castle Rend, those were a gauntlet thrown to the Usurper tyrant, an insult and a threat that could not be ignored. War is coming, and everyone knows it. Now that the seasons have passed and spring approaches into early summer, the buzz is in the air. Lord Saxton has already dispatched the first attack, a testing of Castle Rend's defenses with a few units of men. The upstart Count and his fellow adventurers repelled the attack, though not without heavy losses on the part of the Gravesford levies who turned up to help. Willoughby Twobuckle, the thief of the clock and sometime spy for the court of Rend, has information on the state of affairs in the barony of Bedegar, and even wider information from the whole of the Duchy of Erland, as well as the diplomat's pouch for the new count. And so that is sort of where we resume our story. We stand at the edge of the clearing where the troops of Castle Rend normally train. Today, however, the field is littered with the bodies of the fallen, and weary soldiers march back to the castle in search of the safety of the walls and the comfort of their quarters. Victorious, alive, for the most part, but not without cost. As they arrive at the castle, the Count and our heroes make their way into the Great Hall to discuss what must come next. So, that is where we will resume. The battle has been fought. You and Willoughby Twobuckle, as well as any of the other advisors, are going to sort of, I think, gather in the hall of Castle Rend. There'll be plenty of time for additional scenes you guys might want to do after this. But to start with is if there's, anything that you guys want to discuss or talk about, and then I will sort of carry things forward from there with some new information that will come to light.
Would this be a good time for titles?
Sure. I think if you want to do titles, we can sort of like fast forward a couple of days to, I think right after the fight, probably not, but it's like,
Right.
So I don't know if there's anything that needs to happen. Let's ask this question, Cass. Are there any scenes that need to happen like right after the battle is over, or are you guys cool with sort of like stretching time and moving into some different spots for various things?
I would like one conversation with Twobuckle
Okay.
if he's around.
Oi, Your Highness. What can I do for you?
What do the small folk think of the message we sent 9 months ago? How is it being received?
Right. Well, for the most part, nobody really likes Saxton, yeah. I think there are plenty as would jump at an opportunity to sort of punch an hole in his barrel, as it were, but he does rule Bedegar Keep with an iron fist at the moment, and he's not bad, he's a right evil prick, but he's not bad at public relations. He's got a way of spinning things, like the death of the previous Baron and such, that it's hard to get things to stick.
Do they believe what we saw when it comes to Peloton?
Some do, some don't. Any who speak about it too loud find themselves, having accidents or quietly disappearing. But some do.
Okay.
Well, speaking of that, actually, as I said before, I've got something for you. And Willoughby will bring out the diplomat's pouch, which I think he sort of gave to you. And he sort of instructs you on, again, how it works. Basically, other folks who have these tend to be leaders of major organizations and or nations. And you can write letters directed specifically at people. You have to know who you're sending the letter to, but it will sort of, basically it's magical email. If you know their address, if you know their magical email address, you can put it in the pouch and it will sort of transportationally, dimensionally teleport itself into their pouch, and they can reach in and read your letter. So you can communicate over long distances without having to wait for your horseman to ride all the way over there.
Okay.
He also says that he has some information for you guys, which is an intelligence report. So the first thing to note is that Lord Saxton, by attacking you, has begun what we call intrigue. So for those who are not familiar, because these are some add-on rules, no one is familiar with these, basically, but unless you're an extremely special person, we're using some add-on rules to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons called Kingdoms and Warfare. Kingdoms and Warfare essentially deals with a political landscape where organizations compete and do warfare battle on top of the regular D&D game. So we enter now into what is called intrigue. Intrigue is conflict between organizations. What that is going to mean for our heroes is that Lord Saxton has initiated intrigue, and he actually has a larger size domain than they do. He is a size 2 despotic regime, which means that during the course of an intrigue, he gets 1 extra turn. And because he initiated the intrigue, he gets to take that turn now at the beginning of the intrigue. So I am going to I am going to need to look and see what kind of operations test he needs to make. If you will stand by for just a second.
So just to give a general sense for everyone of how the intrigue stuff works, it's basically like turns of combat for organizations in a sort of diplomatic or non-confrontational way. So during each round, or each organization essentially gets to perform an action. They also have access to bonus actions depending on the type of domain that they have, and their size can give them extra types of actions and things like that. There's a ton of different types of organizations. You should read through the Kingdoms of Warfare rules if you're interested, because it's really cool. They also have reactions, which they can use when an action from another organization is targeting them. So,
yes, excellent, thank you. And so our intrigue will last for 6 turns, so that each one of our heroes will get a chance to engage in at least one domain turn that they will take. And let's see. I have one question I need to answer about these guys' stats. It's not giving me an answer, so we're just going to go with the answer being no. How's that? Okay, so Lord Saxton is going to roll, and then based on what he rolls, I will determine what happens. Oof. Okay, excellent. So, as you guys are speaking with Willoughby, a young sort of thief comes in, a sort of blonde-haired young boy, comes in and slips some paper to Willoughby, and he says, right, well, that's not great. So Saxton apparently has raised the Crimson Guard. They are elite veterans, merciless, and they are planning to march on us with the rest of his army. So, sort of starting off in the negative here, there was some question as to whether or not they would answer the call. It appears that they have.
Do we know of these people?
Are we all present or just the
You
count?
are all present, yes. And what do you know about the Crimson Guard would be...
Because Roz is a background as a mercenary, and part of that background is knowing about other famous rival mercenary companies.
Okay.
Would this be one of those kind of like legendary groups that
Yeah,
Roz
let's
would have
look
heard
at
of?
your... That's like your background thing,
It's the
right?
backgrounds feature, yeah.
Well, and I was going
Is it
to ask
mercenary
if
life, or is it something else? Identify mercenary companies by emblem, know a little about any such company. Yeah, okay, I will say absolutely you would know about these guys.
I was going to ask if Perdita knew of them with all of her rogue actions during Elster's time.
I'm going to give it to Roz on this one, Perdita. I
All
think
right.
that since Roz has a feature that's related to it, I'm going to go with that.
All right.
So, what you know about the Crimson Guard, it says you know a little information. I'm just going to ask for a history check on this.
Sure. What do we got?
That is a 3. Okay, so I will still give you a little information. You know that they're pretty nasty. They're definitely veterans, and they are heavily equipped. So that is, I'll give you the two on their, on their card. I won't give you tier. I won't give you abilities. They are veteran heavy units. So.
My memory fades, but with a name like the Crimson Guard, they must be very dangerous indeed. Surely they are veterans of many battles.
So, right, so, yeah, as I was saying before, They were just testing your defenses here. More will come. A lot more. And you're gonna need a bigger army to defend this place. As I was saying before, the clock is always ticking. We know for a fact he's got a big army of battle-hardened nasties. So you probably got about 6 weeks before he marches like 7 companies down here himself and pulls this place down around your ears.
Perdita, you were in contact with our orcish brethren. How quickly do you think they could amass and get here?
Well, I think there is no question that they could get there. And actually, my exchanges with them because of Edmund's promises to return their special item, they're very inclined to help us, can certainly get here in time, and we do not even have to go ourselves. They would be amenable if we sent an emissary. So if we don't do anything stupid, we can count on them.
It looks like we should send somebody who can communicate with them well. Yeah, I think we should start that as soon as possible. I was also in communication with the leader of, remind me, Pixel, the name of this place.
Dalrath?
Dalrath, yes. We might be able to convince Dalrath to send us something, but it is a loose proposition, if anything.
And then that is perhaps one of the places.
Did we lose somebody? We lost...
Oh, Kyla.
We lost Kyla.
She said her laptop was acting up.
Oh no. R.I.P. Okay. Oh, she's coming back. And I gotta move everybody's faces.
Hooray.
Let's see. I think
Well,
just
I
one
like
will
my
get it
face
there.
where it is. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Sitting right here on the front of my head.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so Two-Buckle also hands over, I'll just go ahead and give you this guy's now. He hands over a packet of information and says, right, so as you probably know, we've been doing a lot of, cloak and dagger, wet work and whatnot, getting what we can. And this is sort of the situation here. He has handed over what is known as the Erland Intelligence Report. What this is a list of sort of the notable factions in the area and their current dispositions. Some of them have things that they might need help with. Some of them, some of it is information about Saxton and his regime and some things that you might be able to, do about that. And when it comes to the clock, who you will see on there, I believe, I don't actually recall I don't think he asked you this properly, Silas, but Two-Buckle does tell you that the leader of the clock, Zola Honeycutt, has been caught and thrown in jail in Bedegar. And so that the clock's ability to help is kind of undercut by their leader sort of being, having been caught, basically. And that she probably will be hanged relatively soon. But you have some time, but you don't know how much. So, for folks at home who can't see this document, there are several other organizations whom our heroes might wish to decide to help if they think they can get some units out of it, or several ways they can try to make things bad for Saxton. I'll just run them through you. There's the Orchid Court, who are a mighty group of wood elves in the forest called the Woad of the Orchid Court. And they, if entreated, they might be able to send some archers. Definitely not good. Oh, okay, they're concerned. Okay. Of course, there's the Clock. The Clock, has a pretty nasty group called pretty nasty unit called the Crew, and after their experiences with you guys at Castle Rend, I believe they were one of the groups that fought with you at Castle Rend, initially they have been actually skirmishing with Lord Saxton kind of this whole time, running covert operations and a whole bunch of stuff. So they have gotten really, really good in the intervening time. They bring up a group called the Elgin Whites, who are a group of some strange beings who live in a place called the Elgin Woad. The elves have an emissary there, and they might be able to be convinced to engage with you all if you can convince them that Saxton is a threat, maybe. You know about the White Tusk Orcs, who are pretty friendly to you after the situation of what ended at the end of the last campaign and Perdita's efforts on your behalf. And you know that they have something going on, orcs mauled by a massive beast. But they would be maybe willing to send their unit if you ask, or if you go help them with their problems. You know that Lord Kenway of Dalrath may be willing to send a unit of troops, but he has his own problems, as everyone does. You do know... Okay, so the bad news with Kenway of Dalrath, his nation north of Bedegar battles goblins and orcs in the north and elves in the wild forests. He won't easily spare help, but you can treat with him without traveling there using the diplomat's pouch. And also, he might be more amenable to things if he can get proof that Saxton is a threat. I know Silas has begun to kind of talk to him about that and started to bend his ear. But if you had hard proof, that would make a big difference. You also know in the western part, in the midwestern part of Bedegar, is a tower called the Necromancer's Tower. It used to be a city or a small town that was taken over by a wicked necromancer about 50 years ago. So, actually probably more like 25 years ago. I think the rumor is that she might be being asked by Saxton for help. And so you may want to go there and either take care of her or see if you can get her to help you instead. You have a couple options there. You also know that there is a place called the Star Chamber in the city of Bedegar where his Knights of the Rose are headquartered. You've heard some unsettling things about it and some possible information about ways to get in. And also, I believe Shanty has heard some other information about it. So, I'll leave everyone to kind of read through that and contemplate. In the meantime, why don't we sort of fast forward through after the battle ending and you guys having a couple of days to sort of get your bearings and figure out what's going on. Let's go ahead and do the titles, and then we'll jump into the planning, if that's okay, unless anybody else has any scenes they want to do before that. Nope, everybody good? Okay, so I think after the victorious battle, your troops are celebrating, and you sort of take just a day or two. You don't have much time to kind of recollect yourselves. Everyone's pondering on the intelligence report, thinking about what their next moves are going to be. But in the meantime, we have a bit of a ceremony where we formally establish the noble court, finally, and we grant the titles unto our illustrious members of our team. And so I think there's a bit of a ceremony. Several troops are gathered. People from the town of Gravesford have gathered. Mayor Osric is there. Farmer Carrick is there, and he looks like he has a very sour look on his face, like he does not want to be there, but is sort of like can't get away with not supporting you guys at this point, even though in the past he was not necessarily all that friendly. There's several of the friendly people from town. And I think we see Edmund looking rather sort of trying to look very serious and stern, but being probably a little bit out of his depth with all of this stuff. As the camera sort of comes in and sees you folks arrayed in front of the crowd. And I'm going to throw it to Roz.
Hear ye, all gathered here in the court of Rend. This by honorable decree of the rightful heir to the barony of Bedegar, Edmund. With the Count's permission.
And I think it actually would be fun if we all roll initiative.
Sure. Natural 20.
Oh, the count. Oh, that's so funny.
I did not select my character.
The last one tonight.
Ooh. All right. So looks like Jesse, so Silas, then Perdita. Okay. So Silas, then Perdita, and then we'll knock them out one by one. So Roz steps up in front of all the gathered assemblage and unfurls the scroll. And behind her are several crates, things that had been shipped in over the past few months. Roz has been accepting a lot of deliveries, and most of you haven't really been bothering to check because she's been on top of it. But here are a few things that she's got. And as she reads off the scroll, she picks up out of one of the crates a portrait.
Awarded herewith the Honorable Count of Rend, Silas the Black Hand. You are granted the title of Court Mage, the Heart of Rend. And in recognition of this service to his heir Edmund of Bedegar, a portrait in your honor.
And held aloft by several tabaxi in matching Harlequin uniforms is a massive portrait of Count Silas of Rend, wearing a sweeping, deep blue crushed velvet cape with coal-colored wolf's fur collars and cuffs, lacquered black boots, shiny in the moonlight with pointed silver tips, his faithful rapier in one hand and a wand of black wood in the other. He's adopted a regal stance, gesturing out into the night sky, which is pierced with pinpricks of starlight. The Tower of Rend is in the background. There's much rejoicing.
Yay.
Yay.
Love it. Thank you.
Perdita, please take your place at the front so that I may speak with you and address you as such.
Yes, Roz, I'm right here, as you can very well see.
Brushing some crumbs from her whiskers.
And
Perdita.
Perdita is holding her tail in one hand, and she's rather idly stroking it.
On behalf of his heir, the Baron of Bedegar, you have been granted the appointment of Master Spy and Assassin. You are now the eyes of Rend.
And Roz gestures again to the tabaxi behind her, who pluck from a crate a small telescoping spyglass with crystal lenses, which you are given as a gift.
Oh,
And there
merci
is much
beaucoup.
rejoicing. Okay, who was next?
Well, and Perdita would nod her head to Roz, but she turns and actually, holding her tail in one hand, manages to curtsy a bit to the Count of Rend before she returns to her place.
Silas bows back.
Chantrell, Shandy, one new member to our group, but no less important. I would like to personally bestow upon you this gift.
And Roz takes from out of a pocket a small length of petrified wood, which has been carefully fashioned into a whistle. And she reads from the scroll.
Chantrell, on behalf of his heir, the Baron of Bedegar, you have been awarded the title of Medium and the Spirit of Rend. I award you this length of petrified wood, gifted from Triangle the Treant. It has been carefully fashioned into a whistle so that you may commune with the spirits of nature.
And Shanty's just gonna be really excited but trying to play it cool. I'm just gonna take it from you and say, thank you so much, Roz. And then, sir, and she's gonna do this kind of sweeping curtsy to the Count.
Next is my gift. I am very happy to accept the title of court minstrel and the voice of Rend. And for my gift,
Roz pulls out on a braided length of silken cord out of her pocket, dangling a small little jingly bell, which she carefully bats once or twice before remembering herself and then tucking away.
I proudly accept. Solomon, step forward.
Solomon kinda steps forward and takes to one knee and looks at Roz.
Roz looks up at the Count and over at Edmund of Bedegar, wondering if either of them would like to knight or bestow the gift to Solomon.
Silas actually will turn to Edmund and let him do the honors as
So
So I think
Edmund will step up to the crate, which contains several things, but chief among them is the Frostbrand greatsword.
So Edmund goes to pick up the greatsword. Let's let Edmund roll strength check. With his -1 strength.
He's been training though.
Yeah, but he's a bard, so he didn't put the points into strength. All right, here goes. We're gonna call this a DC 10 to lift the sword.
Oh, bardic inspiration.
What's your inspiration die?
It's a D8.
Okay, I need you to roll this. He needs an 8.
Come on.
Oh no.
So he goes to lift it, and you can see Edmund's just like straining. And this sword, like Peloton was a big dude, and the sword it's like a 6-foot long fuck off anime sword, And Edmund is just like,
Silas is gonna come up behind him and just kind of grab his arm and help him kind of lift it.
Okay, roll your inspiration, Roz.
6.
6. That doesn't quite get there, but I'll take the help action. We'll roll one more athletics check with Silas's help to see if that's a 9. I'll give him with the 6. It is extremely embarrassing because the adults have to come help this kid lift the sword that's like bigger than he is. And so he comes over to you, Solomon, and Solomon is probably the only person in the room like bigger than the sword, really. So the thing looks actually normal size compared to you, but this sort of like 13-year-old young boy with the assistance of Silas is like helping him hold this thing. And he says, Beast, what was the actual title again? Because you've changed the names of it.
So Roz will read off the scroll as Edmund stumbles. Public speaking is scary.
On behalf of the heir of Bedegar, Solomon, you are granted the title Master at Arms and the Hand of Rend. And among them, these gifts, oils precious to treat the metals of your weapons, and a fine dwarven whetstone shaped in the form of a gasping serpent.
Solomon's gonna kind of lift his hands up with his head bowed, and he says, I graciously accept your gift.
Okay. And so Edmund, with the help of Silas, sort of like carefully knights you and says, "Behold all, Solomon, Knight of Rend, the Hand of Rend, for services rendered and outstanding bravery on the battlefield." And there's a cheer that goes up. And I guess let's get you that sword, huh?
So Solomon's gonna stand up and heft the sword into the air with one hand, and he goes, "I do not accept this badge of office for glory, but for the people." And he sheaths the crossbrand.
And please approach.
And steps up.
And on behalf of Edmund, the heir of the Barony of Bedegar, you are awarded the title of High Priest and the Soul of Rend. Among these gifts are fine incense imported from my homeland in the west, and jars of ritual spice. Do not groom yourself after you've used them.
Thank you, Roz. And then it goes to pat Roz on the head and give a little scritch behind the ear.
And so, let these titles be awarded, let they be witnessed, and let the authority there within be carried out from this day until we forsake our oaths.
And Roz draws her scimitar and holds it aloft.
Silas will draw his sword along with it and his wand next to it and prestidigitate fireworks coming off of everybody's blades.
Perdita will raise her short sword, and she will say in an aside to Edmund, "Do not worry about your strength at this point. Elster told me that he threw up for about 3 days after his first battle. You'll be fine."
He just sort of nods.
Shanty's going to hold up her rapier.
Okay. Is this like a big group, like everyone puts their swords in moment?
Yeah,
or?
we're just
I think.
huzzahing.
Excellent.
Not as well. I mean, I got to show off the Frostbrand somehow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
you do.
as you sort of draw the Frostbrand Greatsword, Solomon, and feel the power, actually, all of the candles in the room dim for a second, and then come back with the power of this sort of chill wind that kind of breezes through. Also, as we've been going, I've been trying to add everybody's stuff to your sheets so that you like know what it does. But I have not gotten Enna's or Beast. I'm going to let you add your own because you probably
Totally
know.
fine.
Thank you.
Do you want us to run through those real quick?
Sure, that would be
just
lovely.
for everyone.
That will give me time to catch up.
Right. So we'll take it. We're going to go in reverse order. So, Enna, as the Soul of Rend, you are entitled to a special ability. It once per turn, when you damage a creature with an attack or a spell, you may choose another creature that you can see within 30 feet of you, and that chosen creature gains temporary hit points equal to 1d6 times your proficiency bonus. So you can choose to manifest your spell destruction chaotic energy into healing magic that boosts one of your allies. And that's once per turn.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So it's whenever I hit somebody successfully.
Whenever you damage something with an attack or a spell, you can then choose to grant temporary hit points to a friend or enemy within 30 feet, to any creature.
And
within
I
30
also need to check and
Okay.
see if
Which you can
these
see.
titles, I think they are in effect all the time, but it also could just be when you're up against officers of the other thing. I will let you guys know.
I think these are commander specific, intended by the rule set, but I think that we can explore using them in normal.
I'll look up what the ruling is and then we'll talk about it later. I just wanted to give that a heads up of like, I think that's how it works, but there's a lot of really new rules, which are all super cool, but I got to just get used to them.
So are you saying you think these may only be when we are in battle?
I think they may only be when you are fighting officers of the opposing in a battle like in a D&D combat, when you're fighting officers of the opposing group. So if you come up against a Knight of the Rose, like one of Saxton's main people, I know like your power dice pool works this way, where you have all this cool stuff that can be done with power dice, but it can only be done in fights with someone in Saxton's like leadership. I don't know if these titles work the same way or not. So TBD on that.
We will find out.
Got it.
They might just be all the time forever, but they might also be not. So,
okay, can I ask another question? And
yes.
Just when we think about going into combat, and that's what we've used as our team of adventurers. Mm-hmm. I am tending to think about as the phrase battle being when we have the armies. Is that, am I correct?
You should be right.
Yes.
I may accidentally use them interchangeably, but that is the more correct way to do it. Okay. Battle would be the big sheet with the armies and the units and the, archers and the cavalry and stuff. And the combat will be roll initiative, I cast fireball, I sneak attack.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. Okay.
I may screw that up. Just clarify if you have questions.
Okay, excuse me.
So, Taylor, are you good on Enna's ability?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. So, Solomon, working backwards, you have the Hand of Rend ability, which is your Master of Arms special thing. You gain proficiency in the athletics skill. If you already have proficiency in athletics, then choose a different skill that you can from your class pool. Additionally, you may choose a fighting style of your choice from the fighting style list. So you get to you have an additional fighting style, and you gain athletics as a proficiency. Okay, let's see. Working backwards. Roz is, as the court minstrel and the voice of Rend, has advantage on performance checks, and can now cast the Vicious Mockery cantrip as a bonus action.
Oh, wow.
So Roz might be a little mouthier, if that's possible.
Yes.
It is not possible.
Shanty, as the spirit of Rend, your ability, when you are learning or preparing spells, all necromancy spells are available to you. Yes. Regardless of whether or not they are on your class spell list, they are available to you as a class spell. Additionally, you can channel the waning life force of a dying creature to aid an ally. When you see a creature with a challenge rating of 1 or higher and it dies within 60 feet of you, another creature of your choice that you can see within 60 feet can regain hit points equal to 1d4 times that creature's challenge rating.
Nice. Okay. That is
does
rad.
Not appear to take any kind of action or reaction from what I can tell. So that's just a thing, like when you see something die, your mushroom spores can eat it and feed it to your friends, basically.
Its soul is mine. Got it. Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Then we go to Perdita.
Oh, also, Roz, you got inspiration from chat. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will mark that down before I forget. As the Eyes of Rend, Perdita, you gain proficiency in the stealth skill, which I imagine you already have.
Yeah, I think Insight would be a good alternative for you, Perdita, if that's acceptable to you.
Mm-hmm.
God, your proficiency in literally like half the skills on here. This is kind of bonkers.
Well, anyway, of course I am, and it is very well deserved.
Rogues, man.
Additionally, as the Eyes of Rend, whenever you hit with a light weapon or a ranged weapon, which is a short sword or any ranged weapon, short sword, dagger, Those are all light weapons. You gain a bonus to your damage roll equal to your proficiency.
And I
So
did already
you get-
calculate that on your sheet for you. So those +8s that
Awesome.
you see on all your short sword, bow, dagger, all that stuff,
Oh,
those
that's
are
disgusting.
correct.
Wait, you just gave rage damage to the rogue.
Yeah, it's slightly better than rage damage, actually.
It's pretty good.
Okay. And
Although
then,
rogue doesn't get like a bunch of extra attacks, so it's not as blessed as it could be.
And finally, last and certainly not least, Silas, as the Heart of Rend, your ability gives you may cast the detect magic spell at will without expending spell slots. Additionally, you have one extra spell slot of the highest spell level that you can cast
That's
To
just
a-
nasty.
to a maximum of 5th level, but still incredibly dangerous.
That's just nasty.
It sure is, bud.
Woo!
Sorry, I'm stealing your sheet for a second.
That's okay.
I hope everyone likes their new toys.
Okay, there we go.
Love it.
Only fireball.
Very much. Very, very much.
Thank you, Roz.
Yes, love it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And
I
so,
prefer
go
to
ahead.
think I earned it with my own amazingness. But thank you, Ross.
Yes, indeed. Okay, and so we have our ceremony, and you are all granted your new titles. And as we sort of move now into a more open period of time, have folks had? I know we've had a lot of information coming at you. Have you had a chance to look at the intelligence report? Or do we, or do people want to like read through that together, so that chat kind of knows what the situation is? If you guys want to like role play through, sort of talking about and figuring out what the situations are with those different various organizations, that might also be a good idea. If we sort of imagine that we're back at sort of the council table having a war council here.
Couple questions just for.
We lost somebody.
Oh no,
I think
Beast.
it was Beast this time.
Oh no!
He'll be
Rip.
back.
She'll be
She'll
back.
be back.
They
But
will
Ross,
always
you
be
can.
They will be back.
She went to go play with her bell real quick.
She must have gone for
I mean,
that.
Honestly,
Yeah.
she probably went to go
delivery.
pee in a jar. Knowing Ross.
I really.
At least you
I was
didn't
a-
do it on screen. Like,
Yeah, that is fair.
I have a question about the Orchid Court. Is
Yes.
this something that, as growing up in the Woad, Silas and Anna would be familiar with, or is this a different part of the Woad?
It is a different woad. You would be like
Aw.
generally familiar with the traditions of wood elves, roughly, but you
Mhm.
don't know these specific people. So you guys are from the Great Woad north of Dalrath,
Right.
which is, I don't know, quite several weeks travel north. And then this, actually, the Woad of the Orchid Court is kind of just northwest of Bedegar Keep. It kind of is like behind Bedegar Keep a little bit. And those elves pretty much keep to themselves for the most part.
I
They're
didn't know if they
relatively
were-
insular and standoffish.
Hometown homies, or
Yeah.
okay.
hometown homies.
Well, as I read through these, it seems to me as though all of these would be powerful allies. We need to look at it and see. It looks like all of them have problems, and that if we go to help them, we are going to have to help solve their problems. So we should look at this and see which ones we think most realistically we can do in the amount of time that we have. Yes.
Agreed.
I agree. I have been in basic communication with Kenway of Dalrath. It's possible we could try to convince him. However, I think it's shaky at best. And when it comes to time, this concerning thing about the necromancer is bothering me. I'm wondering if it might be smart to take the opportunity to take her out completely.
So you tend to put the necromancer as a priority.
Well, on top of everything else we're fighting an army of undead seems not great.
Okay. So it looks like, I hate to do this, it looks like Beast's internet says it died. I think we're going to throw it a break for just a few minutes here, guys, to see if that comes back up. Or if we can find a way to make this work.
Probably knows more about all of these, correct?
No, he's just getting all this information at the same time as you guys. This is not something I've collaborated with him in advance.
Then we don't want to talk about it without him.
Yeah. So we're going to throw it a break for just a minute, guys. Sorry for you all having to see our faces be halfway in each other's boxes and whatever. We're going to pop that break and we'll be hopefully back here in just a few minutes. Thank you, Cam. Okay, welcome back, everybody. More technical difficulties when Pixel forgets to unmute everyone. Whoopsies. Okay, so sorry for the interruption. The question that we are trying to answer came from Silas. We talked a little bit about it off screen, but I don't think you guys missed anything terribly crucial. But Silas asked, during the downtime, if you guys recall from episode 1, Perdita spent some time establishing better diplomatic relations with the orcs, with the White Tusk clan, who had been involved in the issues of the Siege of Castle Rend. So Silas was asking, are they like a sure thing that you're absolutely 100% going to get their help? The answer is no. If you guys don't reach out to them again at all, they will not send you any units. Several of our folks had reached out to various members of these groups. Silas went to Dalrath. Some of you guys talked to some of the other groups around in the area, I think. Essentially, what some folks worked with the clock, I think. I think Perdita did that as well. I don't honestly remember. Basically what those things for the most part did was in the Kings in Warfare that each other realm has like a friendliness attitude towards you. So there's like neutral, there's like hostile, there's friendly, there's allied, there's like a bunch of different, tiers of how they could feel about you. So for instance, the orcs were friendly to you after the end of Castle Rend, but because of Perdita's efforts, they went from friendly to allied, which means they are more likely to send you a unit if you petition them, but you still have to petition them, right? At this point, you'll still have to take an action turn or a bonus action using one of your features that you have to like send an emissary to ask them. The other thing, though, is that you know that the orcs have some trouble going on. If you personally go and deal with people's stuff, they will be basically guaranteed to help you if you resolve their issues. So, there's aspects of that to think about, but most of what happened when folks were entreating the other people were just lowering the DCs of the checks you guys would need to make to get them to send you a unit for the battle. So.
Well, I think that we have worked very hard. I have to establish a relationship with the orcs, and I do speak their language. However, the situation with them is a bit tricky in that they know that they are responsible for the death of the Bedegar family. If we care for them, we will most definitely have their support. So it is something serious I think we should consider. We could send an emissary and he or she would plead our case, and most likely we would get some help. If we go to them, it is for sure, almost for sure certain that they will help us. And for the future of Bedegar, it would be a good thing if we were in a good relationship with the White Tusk orcs. I have to say, from my working during our time apart from each other, I became very involved with the clock, and the monetary rewards that I brought back were as a result of that. And they're valuable allies, plus they are in and around the city of Bedegar themselves. And so I would say that helping the clock could be very valuable to us now and in the future. We will need some support if we retake the city of Bedegar.
I agree. What I'm worried about with trying to save Honeycut is getting in and out and not losing anybody precious. How likely do you think it is that they'd be able to take care of this with a few men, or if we need to send some of ourselves?
Willoughby Two-Buckle pipes up and says, right, frankly, our men are about as good as your men, and if they could have done it, your men could have done it. So given that they can't, it probably is going to require a bit more of a personal touch. The good news is Bedegar's a big place. It shouldn't be too hard for you all to sneak in and out. At least getting to Honeycut won't be a problem. Now, once you've got her and got the attention of the guards, getting back out, slightly different story, but you know, don't be too precious about trying to sneak into Bedegar. It's not as hard as you might think. I myself do it practically once a week. So, in layman's terms, if you're sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, how are we ever going to get into the city of Bedegar?" It's a big city, and he can't police. They just can't police every border of it. Enough. So you guys would be able to get into the city to try to find her. Of course, getting back out with her, you know, if you've got the attention of the guards, could be tricky, but you're powerful adventurers.
Prison break.
We can do it.
So, but yeah, it isn't something you'd be able to send your men to do, because if your men could do it, then the clock could have done it. You know what I mean?
So there are time limits. Just so we understand, is this we pick one or two to do, or is this?
Yeah, so let's talk about the time limits. So basically how this is going to work, each one of these little mini adventures is going to take a week for you guys to complete, given everything from like traveling to the area where the adventure takes place, setting up whatever you need. So for instance, for the prison bake, it's like traveling there, sneaking in, figuring out, do you need disguises, finding, casing the joint, all of that stuff, and coming back will take a week. And that'll be the case for any of these little side adventures you want to go on. So what that means is your side adventure time and the faction turn, like organization turn time, are the same. So essentially how you want to think of this is, okay, each week we are going to pick one thing that we're going to handle personally, and we're going to send our emissaries out to handle something else, right? Or we're going to try to muster a unit or something like that, right? There are several things you can do with your organization turn. You can make any of the several kinds of tests. You can try to entreat a unit for help. You can muster a unit. There's a bunch of different stuff. So you'll basically say, okay, we're going to go deal with this problem. Folks back home are either going to diplomatically reach out to somebody, or they're going to try to, you know, raise a unit for your army or spy on Saxton, something that you direct them to do. It's like, you guys do this, we're going to go do that kind of thing. And then you'll get 6 of those sets to do, right? So it's technically like 12 things total, 6 of which your organization will do, 6 of which you will do. But the other thing to keep in mind is Saxton's people will be doing the same thing, right? So they have 6 things they're going to do in response to all your stuff.
Well, I'm going to turn to Two Buckle and say, you've done well for us. You've earned some help. We will save Honeycut, but I need a guarantee that the clock's going to fight with us.
He says, right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, and the only thing stopping us now is the fact that Mistress Honeycut is behind bars, so if you need a guarantee, you know, you have it. And he spits on his hand and holds it out to you.
I'll shake it. I think that's the first thing we do. Is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And break.
Certainly.
Okay, so I guess for this week that's our task.
Yeah, that's
so
the party's
diplomatic
task.
things. Yeah. For me, I could send a letter to Dalrath. That could be our diplomacy for the week, or we could try to treat with the White Tusk orcs. What do people think?
Yeah,
I think the orcs are pretty. It's a pretty immediate need, I think, personally.
Yeah.
Well, now, we could possibly approach them and ask for their help. And then if it did not go well, we could go personally. I'm a little bit aware the Count is, he mentioned in an aside to me a few moments ago, the concern about the necromancer, too. Mm-hmm. And then did I hear that we want to talk to the Triads and see if our ally there could do something for us? So we certainly want to be clever and effective with the things that we are planning. What does anybody think of? Did anyone have any ideas of who they wanted to reach out to in addition? So we get it all on the table and then we see what to choose.
Well, I did have a couple of questions for Willoughby, actually.
Sure.
All right. Have you heard these rumors of this lady who's bringing in deliveries of bodies into Starcourt?
He sort of shudders and he says, the Star Chamber, is it? That place gives me the willies. I've never been inside. But they do take a number of rather strange deliveries, yes. And they say there's some woman that's new to court. The last year or so, something like that. I don't know. She's right creepy, I'll tell you.
Year or so? Have you seen any evidence of her or glimpses of her yourself?
Well, I haven't, but, I mean, these could just be, the maids in the castle like to gossip. Superstition and all that. They say she's got weird parts.
Weird parts?
Like, I don't know. Monstrous bits or something, I don't know.
I feel like that would make her pretty conspicuous. Strange that no one seems to really know more.
Well, the thing is, almost everybody walks into the Star Court, goes in under a hood and cloak. It's hard to know what's going on with any of them, yeah?
Okay. Valid, fair enough. So I guess, and I'll just kind of turn and address the party since I didn't really bring it up. So there have been some rumors that I've been hearing of massive deliveries of corpses being taken into Star Chamber. And if there is fear of a necromancer teaming up with Saxton here.
Right. I should clarify, what we hear is like animal corpses for the most part.
Okay.
Some of them are alive. Also, I mean, I guess people do go missing there too. It's a nasty place. It's hard to say what's happening in there.
That doesn't sound great. No, not a fan. So I'm just kind of wondering what do you all think? Should we I'd like to try to figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But
It sounds absolutely ghastly. Are you thinking that the necromancer and the Star Court might be connected in some way?
absolutely. I mean, if there's, deliveries of even animal corpses, I mean, hello, Druid, that's terrifying, thinking
Perhaps
about what.
it is simply dinner.
Maybe it's dinner. Who am I to judge? But also,
Well, it's also the sort of the headquarters of the Knights of the Rose, so regardless of that, there may be battle plans, information, missives, that sort of thing.
I think it's
Useful
most
for
likely
spying. You might actually get a chance to
take.
take a shot at one of the Star Knights or one of the Knights of the Rose. I'm sorry, what was that, Milord?
I said I think it has mostly to do with what we found in Peloton's head. Whatever they are, whatever they're doing, you could be doing it to other bodies.
What is?
Well, it sounds as though it would be very
looks like we're losing
beneficial
Raz a bit.
to find out more.
Yeah, well, you can always instruct your numerous spies to attempt to gather information if you feel like you need more. Of course, you've also got to be building your army. It's a hard choice. You've only got so much time.
Yes, but we do have a bit of a people know about us now. Obviously, Lord Saxton does, so it might be good if we could talk someone into going in and getting information, yes? And then maybe we could make a decision in a week or two about what else we needed to do. So perhaps the first thing, if we go to help Mrs. Honeycutt, would be to send some of our people to find out about what they can find out about the Star Chamber and the Necromancer and any connection.
I agree. While we're there, we'll send a spy ring to figure out what's going on with the Star Chamber.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so so just to clarify, your plan of what you're going to do with your personal, party, we'll call it like a party turn and a faction turn. So the party turn is going to be go try to free the Thieves Guild leader, Zola Honeycutt, from the prison as a first order of business. And then you're also planning to send your operatives to try to get more information about the Star Chamber, specifically any connections to the Necromancer.
Correct.
Okay. Also, just to sort of break some things down for you guys currently have 1, 2, 3. You have 4 units of actual units, okay? You have the Hiskers Band, which is Roz's unit of Tabaxi. You have Solomon's Soldiers, who are basically the remainder of Gear's infantry that are now being trained by Solomon. You have Orin's Rangers, who are the remainder of Orin's Rangers, who are currently under the command of Silas, although you guys can swap those around. We don't have solid things on that. And you have the Old Guard, who, incidentally, we have changed around a little bit, Perdita. They were tier 2 in units. We bumped them back down to tier 1. I should have done that before. They were kind of beefed up for the previous Battle of Castle Rend because the idea was they were like people coming out of retirement to help you guys out. Those people have re-retired and now have trained some new people who are somewhat less experienced. So you have 1 cavalry, 1 rangers, and 2 infantry. You also have access to the Blue Dragonflight, who are the special unit you can summon from the armor. The armor of Sankai and the Confessor. Incidentally, something else you guys need to decide who is going to be wearing or using that. No one has to be wearing it to actually summon the unit, but it's also magic armor. You know that Saxton is probably coming at you with at least 7 units, possibly more. He sent a few that got disbanded, to come test your defenses, but he basically has a kind of a head start on mustering on you guys, right? He's got this Crimson Guard unit that is pretty nasty. He may get a unit from the Necromancer, maybe, you don't know. And then he's going to have his own kind of regular people, in addition to whatever he can muster during this intrigue. You can request units from a lot of different people. Don't forget that you also can just try to muster units. We can make operations tests to say, well, fuck, we need some more cavalry. Let's try to raise the cavalry, and you can just make a test and see if you can do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how much is it going to take to move a unit from light infantry to heavy?
It's 500 gold times the tier of the unit to go from light to medium, I think. Let me try and pull this up.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. I think my internet cut out. Yeah. So it's 500 gold times the tier of the unit to go from light to medium. From medium to heavy, it's 1,000, and from heavy to super heavy, it's 2,000 gold.
Right, and the other thing is that as you increase, so like it is a little odd. The tier of the unit is kind of a vibe, honestly. A standard human unit starts out at tier 1. What Beast and I have kind of looked at is that as you progress, if you go, like when you survive a battle, you go from regular to veteran, which increases some of your stats, right? But we've decided that a tier, like a regular unit that goes from regular to veteran doesn't become tier 2 until it also goes from light equipment to medium equipment, which raises more of your stats, right? So if you've got a veteran unit and you give them medium stuff, now they're a tier 2 unit, which means it'll cost, it'll cost more to keep upgrading them because their tier will go up. Regular human units will probably max out at tier 3 or so. The higher tiers are reserved for things that are from like less common ancestries, right? So if you were to try to muster Orcish or Elvish units, which you don't really have access to, right, and upgrade them, they'd start at a higher tier, which is why, like, the Blue Dragonflight is like a tier 4 unit, because they're Dragonborn, which is rare, and then they're super badass, which puts them higher, if that makes sense.
So when I get the chance, I would like to actually pay 500 gold to bump them to medium.
And the other thing is, Beast and I looked at this. Upgrading units also takes a organization turn, but when you do that, you can upgrade as many as you want. So what you probably want to do is get as many of them as you can, and then the second or last turn before the actual fight, do the upgrading and spend all the money to like boost however many you can at once, because you'll want to have all of them available to decide which ones you want to spend money on. You know what I mean? Okay,
I got you. So it'd be better if I were to try to recruit, then upgrade.
Exactly, yeah. Because by the time because if you have enough money, you could, in the first 3 weeks, you could recruit 3 different units, right? And then the 4th, 5th, or 6th week, you could say, okay, this is the week we're going to upgrade the units. So what we're going to do is spend a bunch of money and upgrade 5 or 6 units at once. You know. The other thing to take into account is tier dependency, which is if you can field as many tier 1 units as you can manage to muster. You have to have 2 tier 1 units in order to field a single tier 2 unit. And you have to have... Go ahead. Oh, we're losing Beast again. And you have to have 3 tier 1 units in order to field a single... to field 2 tier units, and then 2 tier 3 to field... or 2 tier 2 to field a tier 3. It's like... Yeah, there's a chart. We can talk about that. So that, you'll want to take that into account when you're thinking about which units you get. I will also say the special units that you get from your friends will not count against this. So if you muster, the elves and they send you their friends or whatever, it doesn't count against your tier dependencies. So.
Okay. That answers my question.
You're muted, Bonus Mom.
I wonder, looking at this intelligence report, which I don't know that we've really gone into enough detail about, I would be interested to know if anyone knows what we might get. For instance, if we were to go to, if we were to go and help one of the groups, I was reading their archers. Which one is that, Mr.
The Orchid
DM?
Court.
If we go and help the Orchid Court, we get archers. Archers can shoot at anybody. They're not bound by where they are in the battle grid. And so it seems like that is something we should look at. We have one group of archers or rangers, Orange Rangers. So perhaps we should consider, from Orchard Court, we get rangers. From the clock, we get that fighting unit on
That's
the clock.
infantry,
that we are already familiar with, another infantry.
Yeah. And I'll tell you real quick, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Because Willoughby would know, I am actually going to give you guys access to see what the crew can do. Just so that I'll put that in your handouts, just so you can see what that, because he would be able to just tell you what those people are capable of. So I will give you that info. Sorry, continue, Perdita.
All right. And so what would we get, does anyone know, from the Elgin Whites if we get their help? It says they're from the forest and they use diplomacy.
If they're centaurs, I assume cavalry.
Some sort of druidic ability.
Yeah, so the Elgin Whites are extremely an unknown quantity, is what I'll say. Nobody is going to know what precisely they would send you. They are, the things that you know that they are similar to centaurs. You know that they are stewards of the natural world. So it would either be a unit of themselves or something to do with nature and, like you said, druidic stuff. You're not totally sure what kind of help they would give you, just that they are, the caretakers of this area of land that's called the Elginwold, and that it would probably be something to do with nature or just like a group of cavalry.
And then if we get the white tusk orcs, we're getting those orcs that we had before. They were infantry, correct?
So I'm not going to give you the unit, but it is actually a different unit of infantry called the Unbreakable. So it's not the Bloodwalkers that you had before. It's actually a different unit.
So if we are sending an emissary to the white tusk orcs to see if that will fly, would they also find out in the course of that what the Unbreakable is, so that we could make a decision as to whether we want to race off to help them, because we'd be getting a very strong infantry?
Yeah, so if you send an emissary and they succeed the check, you just get the unit, right? So you'll know at that point what the unit is. If you send the emissary and they fail the check, I guess, sure, they could try to find out what the unit is capable of, so that you can decide if it's worth it to spend another, party turn to go back and deal with it.
Well, I think we should send an emissary first and see what happens, given the everything we have. All right. Does anyone know what we will get from Lord Dalroth?
I'm going to say, Silas, you actually would know, because I think Soren would have told you. Lord Kenway of Dalrath, if he can spare it, is likely to send a unit of cavalry known as the Hounds of Dalrath. They are kind of like magically trained, like wolf cavalry, basically.
Sick.
So I don't know that I'll give you. I don't think Soren would know enough to know the card and all the information, because Willoughby is a member of the clock and could just tell you what his homies can do, right? I don't know that Soren knows enough about like that kind of warfare to tell you exactly what the Hounds are capable of. But I mean, they're, a pretty decent unit. They're veteran and they're heavily equipped. He probably would be able to tell you that much.
I think our first week activities, we either, I'm in favor of sending something to the orcs just to see where we're at with them. So that would be our operations check, and then for us, the party check would be to go help. That's what I think our first week should be.
Okay.
Is everybody in agreement on that?
All right, so we are changing our first week from sending spies to the Star Chamber to checking out the orcs.
Yeah, we can send spies second week.
Okay.
It can be our immediate next thing. But I think just making sure we're on course with the white tusks, they understand that they're coming. That way we can tell if we need to go help them next week as well.
I do also want to point you all to some additional information for you. That I think those are both good choices. I don't want you to necessarily change those choices. You, on your party sheet, have some features that may come into play. You have a special unit you can try to muster with a DC 13 operations test that will take an action. The ability is called Prepare the Steeds, and you would get a group of cavalry known as the Lancers. And because this would be your actual special unit, I am going to let you guys see the Lancers and what they're capable of. They are a tier 3 veteran heavy group of cavalry. They have an ability called Lancers Flank Them as a reaction when an opposed cavalry or aerial inflicts one or more casualties on your allied infantry. You can make a free attack against that opposed unit. So it's kind of like a punishing move for them attacking one of your friends. They also have one called Follow the Standard as a reaction when an opposed cavalry or aerial unit inflicts one or more casualties on an allied I copied the wrong thing. Follow the Standard. I think it's like when they successfully make a power test, you can have your other cavalry also attack the same unit if you have more than one unit of cavalry. And I think the cavalry all has to be under one of your commanders' command.
Okay.
Let me just... So, And then they're human, so they're adaptable. So that, again, not to tell you to do either of those things in terms of using the party sheet. The other thing I want to point out on the party sheet, you have an ability called Skilled Negotiators. Once per intrigue, as a bonus action, you can make a diplomacy test to try and petition a realm. So that would actually allow you to do 2 things in a single turn, kind of, but only during one of your turns. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you were actually throwing at us, Mr. DM, that we could do the skilled negotiator with the orcs at some week in addition to find out where we are. And we could do, instead of sending anybody to go anywhere, we could do an operations check to see if we get these lancers.
Yes. Right. And that, like, so let's talk about domain turns, right? Let's just talk a little bit because we got time. Let's talk about the things that your domain can do for you, okay? So we've talked about sending someone to be a diplomat to another place. That makes a lot of sense, right? You have this operations test to be able to muster this special unit, right, called the Lancers. That's a special ability from the Noble Court. You also can just muster tier 1 regular units as well. You could say, okay, this turn I want to muster a unit of archers, and you make a test, and if you succeed the test, you get another unit of archers, or you get another unit of cavalry. They'll start at tier 1 regular light, right? They're like your basic dudes, but you can get more that way, right? Or you could even muster levies, and you get 2 for 1 on levies, but they're levies, right? You also have volunteer blacksmiths. As a domain action, you make an operations test. On a success, any levies you muster will be heavy equipped, which is a way to boost up your levies, but it costs one of your turns. So only use that if you plan to muster levies, right? Furthermore, you can make skill tests with your domain. Your domain could do things such as you can try to attack Sir Lord Saxton's defenses, by which I mean he has defenses in resources and communications and morale and a couple of other things like that. You can attack those defenses to try to lower his grade in any of those things, which will grant you certain advantages when you come up against him. Okay? So let's talk about taking actions, time and domain turns, domain skills, adjusting defense levels. So also you can improve your own defenses, right? So if you look at your party sheet, you have your defenses are resolve, communication, and resources, right? And you're currently at 0 on all of those defenses, okay? What that means is you are like flat and get no bonus or disadvantage when it comes to like the combat stuff, basically, or the battle stuff out of it. If you improve your communications, what that essentially will mean is that you, when you go to battle with Saxton, at the end of when we put all our units out, you like get to move an extra unit one more time to like quickly react to where he placed units. If you have like a +2, you not only get to move one unit, you might get to like, you know, swap one of his units. Like there's different little benefits that you can get, right? And you can take turns to bolster your own defenses in lieu of sending someone for more units, right? And the DC for that is 13 plus the defense's current level, right? Or you can try to lower Saxton's level. So you can try to crack his communications and lower his communications defenses, which do similar things. These rules, if you guys are looking, are on like page 19 of the PDF or so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let's see.
You can engage in espionage to try to learn things about units that he's mustered and stuff like that. You can make lore tests, you know, and then operations can build fortifications, muster units, modify units, those kinds of things. Okay. So let's talk about these defense levels. They're on page like 24. So when you're at normal communications, you have no effect. If you increase your communications to secure, which is a +1, at the end of the next deployment, this domain chooses an allied unit in any rank and moves it to any adjacent space. Okay. If you get up to +2 at the end of the next deployment, you choose 2 allied units in any rank and swap those units' location, in addition to also getting to move 1 more, right? And it's like they stack. If you break your enemy's communications and decrement theirs to -1, at the end of the next deployment, the opposed domain chooses one of this domain's units in any rank on the battlefield and moves it into an adjacent space. So it's like you've broken their communications and your spies plant some false information and they end up like out of position, right? Things like that. For the resolve is like your troops' commitment to following your cause. So if you increase your resolve, the speed of each of this domain's officers increases by 10 feet during the first round of combat against opposed officers of the opposed domain. So it's like you get like D&D combat benefits from that, right? Versus if you decrement it, like it decreases speed or it gives disadvantage to saving throws against spells, things like that. And then your resource levels mostly have to do with like your troops having advantage on power tests at +1 or disadvantage on morale tests because you don't have enough gear and food for everybody. So not to overly complicate things. I know there's a lot of esoteric rules coming at you. Close your mouth, bonus mom. I can't help it that none of you read this book, okay?
I've read this.
Damn, got us.
It's all right. So, those are the kinds of things you can do. So like right now, because I can just sort of tell the way you guys are thinking, like, oh, we have 2 options and it's like sending people to spy or sending people to do diplomacy stuff, right? Like there's actually a lot of stuff you can do, right? You can try to crack his defenses. You can try to ambush his supply wagons, all these different kinds of things that have mechanical benefits that they can get you, and again, not trying to tell you to change what you did for your first thing. Just want you to sort of know what the range of possibilities are. And maybe also encourage folks to...
The complication is in only choosing 12, right? Because you're telling us 30 things to do.
Yeah, but you can only choose 6 of them, basically, to do. And the other 6 things will be things you personally go and do that are not necessarily going to have the kind of same impact. So...
Got it. Okay.
And of course, we want the majority of them to result in us having more bodies on the field. But you make a very good point about trying to weaken the other side also.
Yeah, because some of the things you can do will make the bodies that you have better or the bodies that they have worse. Right? And that is also a valid strategy. Now, you could just try to straight overwhelm him with, your raw numbers. That is certainly a strategy you could go with, right? And then if that's what you wanted to do, you would want to just amass as many friendly units from NPC realms as you can possibly garner, right? And hope that pays off, and hope that he doesn't. But the other thing is he'll be taking turns too, so he may be trying to sabotage you guys that you have to defend. Like if he breaks down your communications, you might have to spend an action to get him back up, or when you get into the battle, he can fuck with your units, right? So. That's kind of where
we're so fun. Perfect.
So far the suggestion is to use you guys to go rescue Zola Honeycutt.
Mm-hmm.
I point out the thing about the sending something to orcs, because you could use your skilled negotiation to send someone to the orcs as a bonus action and then still take another faction turn if you wanted. It would like get you an extra bonus thing up front to figure out the orc question, right? Or you can hang on to that for later if you want to like save it in case you need it later down the line. Right. So, and you can also try to muster your special unit as an action, or you could send the spies about the Star Chamber. All of those are very valid options that you guys have put on the table. So,
what if we did this? What if we go save Honeycutt, we send a faction to the White Tusk Orcs, and we bonus action a faction or a diplomat to a Dalrath with the diplomat's pouch. That way we can see where both of those units stand. and we get this. We could get 2 units for the price of 1, but at the very least, we understand we might be able to make a decision between either the White Tusk Orcs or the Dalrath Hounds on next turn. Does everybody agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we do.
Does the DM say we can do all that in one time?
Yes, you can. So
Okay.
the other thing to keep in mind is that each member of your party will have to be the person who gives one of those orders. It can be anyone you want it to be, but you should know that each officer will only be able to add their proficiency bonus to your organization's roll one time, right? To make that a little clearer, Silas, if you say, I would like to use my domain action, because I'm going to give the order this turn, to tell someone to go communicate with Lord Kenway of Dalrath. If you are proficient in, I think it's insight or... if you're proficient in insight or persuasion, I think it is, then you can add your proficiency bonus to the bonus that your party has, than the party sheet has. So to make that, like, your group diplomacy bonus is +3, right? If you're proficient in insight or persuasion, you can add your proficiency bonus to that to make it +6, rolling for Kenway of Dalrath. But you can only do that once per intrigue. So once Silas has done it once, you can continue to issue orders on subsequent turns if you have action stuff available, but you won't be able to add your proficiency. It'll just be the raw organization bonus.
Okay.
Right? It's sort of to incentivize each of you guys to make your own rolls. So if you want proficiency added to both of these rolls, 2 separate people will have to give the orders,
That's fine. I think that I can talk to Dalrath. Perdita, would you want to talk to the White Tusk Orcs, or we might send Roz, who I think has a pretty good persuasion check?
So we won't be sending you guys specifically, and we're not using your actual...
But using our...
Yeah, we're not using your actual persuasion. We're using your proficiency bonus to, like, bolster... So it's sort of like, imagine it this way. If Perdita coaches, like, you've got a... Let's say you're going to send Two Buckle to the orcs, theoretically. Perdita would coach Two Buckle in how to talk to the orcs, and that would represent adding the proficiency bonus. It's like that kind of a thing, right?
Right.
It's like, how well do you give the orders and how well do you coach them? So,
yeah. Yeah, I am proficient in insight, so it would be a +6.
Yeah. You're muted, Bonus Mom.
Perdita has +6 in persuasion. You also, but does that mean if I do that, then I don't send any orders for the other 5, 10 things?
It does
11 things.
No, it does not necessarily mean that.
All right.
What
I
it means
have a
is
+6. Would Roz like to jump in with you?
so the +6. You're totally missing it. Sorry, Bonus Mom. Are you proficient in insight or persuasion?
Well, yes.
Okay, so then what that means is you can take your +3, which is your proficiency bonus.
Yes.
And you can add that to your organization's diplomacy bonus, which happens to also be +3, for a total of +6 to the roll. But it doesn't really actually have anything to do with your personal +6 in persuasion, other than just the fact that you're proficient. I know it's confusing. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I didn't read the PDF, all right? If that's what you want to know, I didn't read it because it lives at my house.
It lives at my house.
Here's the thing is you did read the PDF, but you're also taking umbrage at me explaining it to you. That's the thing here. If you just didn't read it, that's okay. But reading it and be like, God, how dare he explain this to me? That's where the train comes off the track, friend.
I'm doing that. Well, I can't send you to your room because you are already there.
Okay. So, to make this, to sort of get us there, Silas is using his... Silas is going to give an order on this turn to have diplomats reach out to Lord Kenway of Dalrath to try to get his unit and or to see, what the deal is, basically.
Yeah.
Perdita is going to use the bonus action granted by your ability on the party sheet called Skilled Negotiators, which is going to then be marked off because this is the only time you're going to be able to use it, to send someone to speak to the White Tusk Orcs to try to get their unit.
I will be honored to do that.
Okay, very good. So that is going to require 2 diplomacy tests, I believe. Yes. So you're each going to be rolling this diplomacy test with +6, so it'll be a D20 +6. Before you roll, let me tell you your goal numbers. So I believe... go ahead.
And I have no inspiration, so it will be whatever I roll.
Gotcha. So before we jump into that, I want to check. I believe I told you, Perdita, that you had managed to get the White Tusk Orcs all the way to allies. Was that correct? Does that ring a bell?
I remember you mentioning that, yeah.
Because they were already friendly,
Yes.
and then you went and talked to them, right? Okay.
I got it. And I have allies means sending a diplomat, not us. I managed to do that. They are now allies because we promised them Edmund won't revenge them and will return the item.
Okay.
I put it in my notes.
Okay, very good.
I'm
trying to find this chart.
But I do keep notes.
Okay, here we go. So allies have a diplomacy DC of 8. So you need to roll higher than a 2 on your D20 in order for you to successfully recruit the Orcish unit.
Oh man, the odds are against us.
So you just want me to roll a D20? Or
We
you want
do
me
have
to
some chat inspiration from Spectrosofa for Bonus Mom.
Yay.
The Hokage in the Village of the Nat 20s.
Oh,
It has
does
granted you...
Spectrosofa have inspiration? I'm just asking. You don't, do you? Spectrosofa.
No, I have inspiration.
You have it. All right.
Yeah. Just not
So
from the
you're
DM.
going to roll a D20 plus 6, Bonus Mom.
All right.
So if it's as long as it's not a nat 1, you will have successfully recruited the Unbreakable.
Oh, God.
You get a 5% chance of failure.
I rolled a 5.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
It's so
5.
A 5 plus 6 is 11. That grants you access to the Unbreakable. So I'm going to put that in you guys' thing. There they are.
So can I just miss the next 5 weeks of play then?
No, because we actually have to play the D&D part of this too, as it turns out.
Oh, so we've got the
As it turns out, it's
Unbreakable.
like a game in a game. Okay, so then Lord Kenway of Dalrath. Now, what did I tell you about Kenway? Did I say he was friendlier, or what did I say? Do you remember?
Yes. So when we treated with him, we talked. He said he wasn't able to send units yet because he was dealing with things, but we were on good terms.
Okay.
You said if I remember right, we were like 1 step below ally. So if it
So
was
that'd
like
put you
3
at friendly.
steps-
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let me look and see. Okay, yeah. So friendly is going to put you at a DC 10
Oh,
for
okay.
Kenway of
That's
Dalrath.
not bad. All right.
And you're rolling with a plus 6.
So a D20 plus
D20 plus 6.
All right, let's get it cooking. All right. 15, 21.
15, 21. Okay.
Nice.
So your diplomats managed to convince Lord Kenway of Dalrath that Saxton will not stop at the borders of Bedegar, and in fact will likely want to continue to expand his reign of tyranny. You now have access to the Hounds of Dalrath, who will answer your call.
Yes.
They are in your thing. Things are looking
Hell
up.
yes.
Okay. That having been done, let me take a look. I'm going to go ahead and take Saxton's turn now. He took his 1 turn before you guys. So now he's going to take his actual first turn. And I have to go find where he is.
While he's doing that, could I get a recap of who has chat inspiration, please? I now have it. Jesse
I do
has
not.
it. Okay.
Nope.
I'm not going to grant it yet because I want to wait to see who next.
Just as a question, do we do our honeycut thing on this turn, or is that?
Yes, honeycut thing will be while your diplomats are out doing all that shit.
Well, I didn't know if it meant before or after.
So it will happen this week, tonight, in real time.
Yeah, so him doing the Crimson Guard happened before you guys started taking your first turn.
Sure, I'm talking about what he's doing right now.
Yeah, what he's doing right now will technically be while you're trying to go get honeycut.
Got it.
Yeah, during that whole
week. Are we
week.
going to get honeycut tonight in the real world?
It'll take... we can start that process.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Let me see here. I was looking up... I'm trying to find out what you guys know about what turns he takes. Taking domain actions and turns. Because I think you know that he musters units, if he musters units. Okay, here we go. Who knows what? Spies from both domains monitor each other, so almost all actions a domain takes, and the results are public knowledge. The exception is mustering units and using domain skills to improve a domain's stats. Enemies know when units are mustered or when stats are improved, but knowing which units or which stats requires espionage tests. So you will know that he is attempting to raise one of his domain stats as we speak, but you will not know which one. Okay. Now, what I need to see is he's got to make operations tests to raise that, and that operations test is equivalent to let's see. Hang on, I gotta find it.
Take your time.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, so the DC is 13 plus the defense's current level. Okay, so he's got to roll. His operations is that. Okay, and he's trying to beat. It's the first turn, so we know he's trying to beat a 13. Okay. And you don't know if he's successful or not, but you do know what he tried. Or you do know that he tried to raise one of his defenses. So. Okay. That takes care of the turns. You guys have made your turns, which were the diplomacy tests to get those units. You know that Saxton has attempted to increase one of his domain stats. And now it is time to actually do the freeing of Zola Honeycut stuff. Sorry, go ahead, Beast. You were going to say something?
I was going to do during an operation or...
You are breaking up.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Internet's been iffy.
Oh, God. Come on.
Okay, we hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Get it in
I was
quick.
going to ask. During the week of operations, when you do something that raises or lowers, like if you're attacking or gaining benefits, only ever one.
Okay, you broke up in the middle there. You only have one what something?
Do the stats of the organizations increase and decrease only by one?
Yes. So if you look at the party sheet, you'll see that you have like a defense number, and then at the bottom you have this like defense progression and skills progression stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so
it's based on how many times you need it is how high it's gotten, right?
So the defense progression at the bottom, if Saxton wants to attack you guys' communication, his operations test has to beat an 11. Right? That's how like strong your communications are against attack. Your defense number is currently at a 0 because everybody starts flat. And then if you increment it, it'll go up to +1. If it gets decremented, it'll go to -1. So if you want to increment it, you need to make a DC 13 operations test with one of your turns. If he wants to decrement it, he needs to make a DC 11 operations espionage test. Actually, I think it is in order to attack it.
Got it.
So,
and that would only ever increase or decrease by 1.
As far as I know, unless there's a special ability or feature in one of the things, but I don't think either one of you has anything that does it that way.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. Whew, organization stuff done, right?
Check.
So now we are going to move to Bedegar. So what Willoughby Two-Buckle tells you is that there is a contact of the clock by the name of Corina Jarvis, who should find you when you enter Bedegar and can kind of give you the lowdown. So I'm going to take you guys to the map of the Barony of Bedegar. Bloop. We're going to pop everyone onto the map screen. That's not the right map screen. That's the right map screen. This is not Curse of Strahd. Okay, so I'm going to delete some of this stuff.
Sorry.
New Joycey. The Grey Waste. Okay. All right.
The Necrodancer, or the Necrodancer.
I liked the Bedegar, personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And Territon's not on fire anymore. It's just a slave camp.
Oh, wow. That's not better at all.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
It really isn't. It's a bad time. Okay, so you guys are going to... Oh, no, I still have your old token up there. Okay, hang on. I made a new one. I think I made a new one. Was Pixel a smart boy who made a token? Or was he a dumb boy who didn't make a token? I think I did, but I think I have to upload it still, so we'll just use this one for now. It doesn't really matter. Someone on the internet remind me to do that before the next episode. So you make your way to Bedegar Keep, which is a massive edifice of gray stone. You can see guards moving back and forth. You see quite a few people. There are like merchants and various peasants and farmers moving in and out of the walls. There is a bit of like a guard checkpoint, but you all are experienced adventurers and are able to hide your identity well enough to sneak inside. And before too long, you are approached by Corina Jarvis, who I totally have a thing for. That's her character sheet, which I might need. But what I actually need are in my handouts. I want my handouts. Where are they? NPC handouts. There we go. Clock handouts. Here you are, Corina Jarvis. So you meet this woman. She has blue hair and green eyes, pale skin. She is wearing chainmail armor with some sort of like studded leather pauldrons and gloves. She has a crossbow and a short sword, I think it is. I actually don't know off the top of my head which kind of sword she has. Yeah, it's a short sword. And she approaches you, and I'm going to roll a dice and see which one of you she taps on the shoulder. How's that? There's 6 of you. Okay, Solomon. You are sort of walking through the streets. It's a bit of a gray and overcast day, and you hear a bit of a like ding, ding, ding on the back of your armor, and you turn around to find much shorter than you this woman with blue hair, and she appears to be sort of a kind of roguish character, and she says, she says, "Oh, are you there? You got the time?"
Depends. How may I help you on this day?
Yeah, and she sort of squints her eyes and shakes her head, and she says, God's blast it, Two-Buckle always forgets to tell him the call sign. Right, well, you lot are unmistakable. I take it you're with the Count.
Solomon looks around and he kind of leans in and he goes, should you really be saying that out loud while we're here in Bedegar?
Well, I'm not talking that loud, am I?
I mean, there's a lot of people. You never know who's listening in.
Oh, people around here know not to listen. If you listen, you hear things, and if you hear things, you might be expected to know things, and if you know things, well, you die.
Oh,
Well, I suppose you have a point there.
Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Right, well, here's the skinny, yeah? Tomorrow, just before noon, Zola Honeycutt will be escorted by many guards for a short walk from the prison to the city's public plaza to the Gibbet Square. I assume you're familiar with it after that stunt you pulled 9 months ago, yeah?
I wasn't part of that, but I heard of it, yes.
Some of the guards will go back to the prison, but some of them will stay to keep the peace during the hanging. At the gallows, the stairs rise up to a wooden stand. Typical, there's a trapdoor, the whole deal. But prisoners are allowed final words, sort of to soothe their souls before, it all goes south at about 9.8 meters per second, if you know what I mean. And also, it's permissible under Bedegar law currently for priests of Saint Verona to visit the prison to minister to those sentenced to death, as well as to speak with the guilty on the gallows just before the hanging. Those priests are well known for their rough-spun grey cloth robes.
Where do you think we might be able to find some of these robes?
Well, that is up to you, I suppose. You could try and buy them from the marketplace. People might have something similar you could convince is what you're looking for. You might be able to find some priests and knock them out, get some for yourself. That's not really my part of the job. I'm just here to tell you the little information I've got, and I can't be seen too much longer here talking with the likes of you, or I'll draw a bit too much attention myself. So, that all having been said...
What's your price?
That's a great question. Price for what precisely?
For you to acquire some of those robes for us.
Oh, that's too hot even for me.
fair enough. Well, one last question. How high did you say the platform was again?
Oh, so 10 feet,
Excellent.
maybe. So, right. Well, good luck. But that's me. I'm gonna have to jet. And she sort of like slips away into the crowd, leaving you standing on the street of Bedegar with little.
Do
bit
I know
of
what those
information.
robes look like?
Do you know what those robes look like? Priests of Saint Verona. I would say anyone proficient in religion would be able to make a check to see if they know what those robes look like.
Ooh.
Which I think is just maybe Anna and Solomon, or maybe just Solomon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm proficient.
So yeah, if you guys want to make a check.
It looks like a 12.
Okay. 16. Yeah, so yes. I would say that between Anna and Solomon, you guys do know enough about what those robes look like that you would be able to make a more convincing disguise if you can find something similar enough. I'm going to say that if you can find, if any of you has a disguise kit, or weaver's tools, I will lower the DC of that check by 2 because you have people who know what the robes look like. Or you can try and find something in town. You might be able to find the genuine thing. It's up to you guys how you want to approach it.
Roz has a disguise kit.
Bonus mom is muted. Still muted. Should we just like make up captions for what bonus mom is saying?
Trish, yeah. Sorry.
She's saying Pixel is such a great DM. I'm glad he's running this game for me, and I just love it when he explains how the mechanics work. This is my favorite part. It's riveting.
I'm going to keep my hands like this because it would just be safer. So I don't have a disguise kit. I don't want my fingers thinking for themselves. Okay.
Oh.
Crazy.
It's not going to stop me from taking a sip of delicious
But
Coca-Cola.
I do have thieves' tools if anybody wanted to break into anybody's closet and steal some.
So explain that again. The priests get to come in before the hanging?
Yes. So what she's told you is basically that you could try to get into the prison itself in the guise of delivering like last rites to prisoners, or you could try to, at the execution itself, basically do the same thing. You'll be able to get right up next to the prisoner. There are guards around. So it's up to you guys as to whether or not you think it makes more sense to try to break them out of prison and then get out, or to sabotage the execution itself and then get out.
Yeah, that's prison break.
I think so I'm just going to throw it out here. I think that if we try to do the prison break, now this is just me assuming, but that would equal 2 walls we have to try to get through. Okay, because like in a prison, there's obviously going to be a wall around the compound, I think. Now, if we do it at the execution, but we somehow set up a distraction, we might be able to not have to deal with as much as what we would inside of a prison.
I've got a way to get her out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Let's do it.
100% confident I have a way to get her out.
Love it.
Okay, so you guys
Trish, you're muted.
need to find. So is the plan to disguise yourself in gray robes and pretend to be priests?
Yes.
Okay. So just to make it clear then, it'll be, if you're going to use the disguise kit to try to buy things that look like these robes and then make them look appropriate, it'll require a DC 11 intelligence check with a disguise kit. And you'll have to spend 10 gold pieces each per person to make the robes. You can also, I'll just tell you, you can try to find the correct robes with a DC 15 history check, or a DC 15 intelligence history check, or a DC 15 charisma investigation check, which can be made with advantage if someone knows thieves can't. Or you could theoretically try to find some of those priests and beat them up and steal their clothes.
19 on a history check.
Okay. Cool. So 19 on a history check is good enough to actually find real robes from those priests. So you're able to track down
Nice.
with your sort of intelligence. Silas is sitting there thinking like, no, they've got to buy these robes from somewhere. And wherever that is, they will sell those robes for money. And so you manage to sort of like sleuth your way to being able to buy some of these robes. It'll be 25 per person for the robes. So I don't know if you want to lump sum that or if somebody has that laying around, but
Yeah, off screen we should actually do like some accounting and make we need to create like a shared bank account basically.
Yeah.
A joint account.
yeah. You also need to finish giving out some magic items. I meant to tell you to do that, but I know you gave away the greatsword, but I think there's other stuff. Anyway, okay, so but does everybody have 25 gold to spend, and you can just spend your own, and then we'll deal with the rest of it? Because if not, somebody's going to need a loan, is what I'm getting at.
Does anybody need covered for gold? I have enough.
I think I gave everybody plenty, but
I actually don't know how much I have, Pixel.
okay, let's take a look.
Trying to find it on my chaos
It's
sheet
like in
here.
the middle of it somewhere, halfway
Yeah.
down.
It should be like right under your, right above
It says
your
you have
equipment.
10 gold. I think I had everyone roll. What did I have you do, Solomon, when you joined? Do you remember?
So the way that I set it up, it was persuasion. It was pretty much persuasion.
Oh, because you were doing
Yeah.
work, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how we got you some extra.
Sorry.
What did I?
You know
That's
what?
okay. But what did I
D100.
do? Yeah, I did a little bit for everyone else. It was like a D100.
We totally did it, and I just forgot to update it. I'm sorry. That's
Oh,
my bad. I'll do that
okay.
right now. That is on me.
Cool.
Sorry.
Do we get to know what the plan that's absolutely going to work is? Or is it going to
It's a
surprise
surprise.
us? Oh, I see. All right.
That's leadership,
I don't
baby.
think you should.
My plan
You
was
should-
then.
I
I'll
don't
tell
think you
at
should.
Christmas.
I don't think you should hide the surprise from the party executing this plan.
The man's gonna cross to me.
I'm sorry.
Hey guys, you want to break into a prison? And I'm gonna not tell you how we're getting out.
Oh no.
So I thought
I
about
would like
just,
to know.
yeah, I thought about just walking up to her cage and
was just
sticking the
fine.
wand through the bars and polymorphing her into a turtle and walking straight on out.
That's
love that.
embarrassing. But that's great.
Lasts for an hour. We'll be out of the town
I love
before anybody
turtles.
knew.
Okay.
So my whole plan to build 2 miles worth of ropes and pulleys probably wasn't going to be as effective.
That seems time consuming.
That was not. I did not have a plan.
I
I
think
did not.
turtle escape is probably the great turtle escape.
What if they notice she's gone?
We fucking run.
Can
You're great at this.
Can Roz purchase a pet turtle from?
Can Roz purchase a pet turtle? I think that's gonna. So, Bedegar is landlocked, although there is a bay nearby and there's sort of a lake over there. It's gonna be a luck check as to whether or not anyone in Bedegar is selling turtles.
I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky.
So it's gonna be a D100. Give me higher. Just tell me high or low.
I'm going low.
Going low.
Would it
Okay.
be a better chance if we say a tortoise, but not like a huge tortoise?
Like a baby.
Yes.
Just a little baby.
We're going
I'm gonna go
for
with
reptiles.
no. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I
the
think it's
same
the
either
same.
way. I
We could do
appreciate
it.
the low. Okay, I think 39 is good enough. I think yes. If you want to find a pet turtle in Bedegar,
How many turtles can Roz purchase?
What's this? Cat man? Cat lady person trying to buy my turtles? You want a turtle?
I would like a clutch of your finest terrapins.
Oh, a whole clutch and a fancy word to boot.
Yes, I like you, stranger.
Well, let's see.
Oh my god.
I don't know how much turtles cost.
actually, this is Pixel. I don't know how much turtles cost.
That seems rather odd, turtle merchant, that you do not know the cost of
She hasn't sold one in so long.
They've been on clearance for the longest time.
50% off turtles.
She looks around. There's a cage of turtles she's never
That'll
seen
be-
before. She looks,
2 silver per
Who's
turtle.
feeding the turtles?
I'll take the lot.
I've got 6 turtles.
No, you have no turtles. I have 6 turtles.
Do we each get a turtle now?
And that's 12 silver, so that's 1.2 gold, right?
Yes.
It's a pleasure doing business with you, fuzzy
Here
face.
is 2 gold pieces. Your silence I will buy.
She just like a single tear rolls down her face, and she says,
I can afford the divorce. I can afford the divorce.
and she sort of like cackles. She actually, as she goes, like she kicks the corner of the like wooden pole that's holding up the tent on her cart, which just collapses. And like it's like she's like the whole cart breaks down on the way out, and she just like runs off into.
Roz is holding 6 turtles. Regent the group.
6 turtles, all would.
I have acquired a distraction.
Roz, you have 6 turtles. That's quite impressive.
Roz is going to hand every single party member their own turtle.
Let's go.
So I think it's important, all extremely conspicuous about having turtles in public as a way to really sell the fact that when we break out Honeycutt, they will not know which one she is, and if need be, we can swap them.
All right, lightning round. What's everybody naming their turtle?
Real quick, before that, while you
Ooh.
a little voice pipe up from your bag. Excuse me, who the fuck is this?
Whoa. Hey, Arrow, look, I got you. We got you a friend. Look.
And he just sort of like squeaks and like flicks his whiskers. Are you replacing me?
No, Arrow, I can never replace you. I just got you a friend. Look.
Does he even talk? I bet he can't talk.
No, he can't talk.
I can say lots of words.
Yeah, I know.
Conspicuous. Bet you can. He's conspicuous.
Did you learn that today? Did you learn that today?
And the
That's
turtle
a big
just
word,
goes,
buddy. Wow.
Okay, sorry. Lightning round. What's everyone naming the turtles?
Shelton.
Penelope, he's a boy.
Raphael.
Snowball.
Okay, so Raphael, Shelton, Snowball, Penelope. What else we got?
I'm gonna name mine Nippy.
Nippy.
We've had the request for Donatello from chat.
Arrow is now Master Splitter.
Oh,
That's
no!
extremely
What
funny.
have I done?
No. Oh my god. And that's how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came to be.
That's extremely funny, Cam. Okay, Solomon. What? I think I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 names. What did I miss?
Edward Arrington V.
Okay, Edward Arrington
To
V.
the other 4.
And what about what about Roz? I think did I get one from you?
Oh yeah, Snowball.
Snowball. Okay, who am I missing? Oh, Nippy. Thank you, Taylor. I saw you were typing it. Okay.
Nippy.
Okay, so you guys
Arrow
are
in
planning
his teeth,
to
Nippy.
go to the Bedegar prison, yeah?
How are we going to know which is which?
I would know Snowball from any other turtle. It is a bond shared between
But
turtle
will you know
and
which
turtle.
one is Madam Honeycutt?
I quickly
I have
pressed
no
to digitate really quickly since these are new turtles. I pressed to digitate a small pen and write their names on each of their shells.
Okay.
Where we don't get them confused.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if there was like a turtle mishap and
No.
and you guys lost track of Zola?
That immediately occurred to me.
So,
Before we get up to the prison, Silas is going to duck into a corner and actually use his scroll, because I don't have it prepared, to cast Disguise Self and completely change his face, and then not change the robes, but kind of spruce him up a little bit, just so he looks maybe like the priest in charge.
Okay. Sure.
Well, and Perdita has been working with her tail very much. So you would see that she is going to pet her tail, touch her tail, and her tail is going to actually wrap around her body and tuck into the belt where she wears her pouch. And it's just going to stay there like a quiet little tail.
I have a question for Chanterelle. Do you have dark vision?
Sorry.
I don't think Genasi have dark vision, but I don't know.
It depends on which version. The old one didn't, but if she made it in the new version for Monsters of the Multiverse, they now do.
Okay, we've been using all the old stuff, so we're going to go with didn't.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, there we go. I want to make sure everyone has vision enabled properly, so I'm trying to... Okay,
I can light up like a flashlight, but I can't promise y'all won't take damage.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Okay, alrighty,
I'll
friends.
find a
I'm going
torch.
to move us over to the thing. Hopefully nobody is seeing anything they're not supposed to. And you are standing outside of Bedegar Jail. You have, in fact, gained access to these robes that you believe will mask your presence. And you're standing in front of the double doors. You can decide sort of who... the doors are right here. You can decide who would like to go through them. You all have turtles. So, yeah. What would you like to do?
Who do you think should take the lead?
Is the door locked?
No, not necessarily. It's just closed currently. Like, no, you're standing looking at it, and the question is who's going to walk in and what are you going to do?
Possibly a human?
Smart.
Solomon with me.
Okay.
And we're going to walk through.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. You guys should have access to your tokens. You open and see...
Bardic Inspiration to Solomon.
Yeah, so these large metal-bound double doors are opened up with a screech and a squeak, and you see a human guard. Seems to be standing behind a little desk, and he's got this sort of mop of kind of like curly reddish hair, and he sort of like looks up from whatever paper he's doing, and he says, "Who are you?"
Disguised, you see a man bald on top, but with like a little bit of the monk hair around, a couple boils on the face just to look stand outish, and Silas will respond as, "Priest, last watch for the prisoner to be hanged tomorrow."
He sort of squints and says, you know?
Well, I am.
Where's Gary?
Oh, Gary's shit. He's got the shit, I hear. And tap Solomon on the side.
Solomon doesn't say anything as to portray not betray, but to give the feeling of maybe he's taken a vow of silence.
The guy sort of squints his eyes and looks at you and says, "You swear an awful lot for a man of the cloth."
That's right. As for somebody's got to. Look at this one.
I like it, eh? Right, come on in. Save the souls of the blessed bastards before we send them off on their way.
Right. Anyway, hold my turtle. No, sorry.
What the fuck?
No, I'm playing.
Okay. So Nick's, that was not true. Okay, did not actually happen. I do want to make a perception check though to see what he thinks about these turtles. Does he notice the turtles? Does he care? Let's find out.
Does.
There he is. Okay. I don't need you. Goodbye. That's a 18. Okay. He sort of squints and says, did they let out, is it recess at the petting zoo? What's this now?
No. They think that if we have to take care of some small life, we'll have to take care of all life. You know what I mean? So we're tasked to take care of these turtles for religious rites. You know what I mean?
Okay, make a deception check on that one.
Roz is going to start chanting and moving the turtle in circles.
Advantage or disadvantage?
I'm going to hold the turtle up, and it can be, it can be used somatically. Hold on, let me read it before I. Okay, never mind. I can't do it.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Is Roz able to give the help action?
Let's find out. So I'm gonna have the
Or
turtle.
Does the chanting count as bardic inspiration?
Can it.
Okay, the turtle does not pee on Roz.
Oh, wonderful.
And so
Snowball,
Roz would probably like
never.
it.
Snowball would never. Also, yes.
And so yeah, I'll say if the hell. I think that he probably thinks the chanting is weird enough. I don't think that's advantage. If you want to spend the inspiration,
Can I make a performance check then in order to attempt to give advantage or help?
I just don't think that's a tree he's willing to bark up. This guy,
That's
unfortunately. Okay, what was your okay, you haven't rolled deception yet, have you?
I haven't.
Okay. You do have the
Unless-
inspiration though from earlier, right?
I do. Yeah,
And you have like two versions. You have okay. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll spend it here. I'll give myself advantage on this.
Okay. I'm gonna move these.
11.
Okay. And you have Bardic though, right? Don't you?
No, Solomon does.
No.
Solomon does. Uh-oh.
So-
11.
Give it to Silas.
He sort of. Go ahead.
So Solomon, in attempt to maybe try and salvage this, sorry, he's gonna walk up and do a bunch of complicated hand signals and stuff and set the turtle down on the table as to try to, I guess, persuade, using persuasion on this guy.
Okay, I'll let you roll it. You're gonna have disadvantage on trying to invent sign language and use it to communicate with this guy who doesn't know whatever version of sign language you've just invented. That definitely qualifies as a disadvantage situation. Yes.
Oof.
So he sort of squints at you guys and says, "Right, well, I don't think they're supposed to have pets in there, and if one of them gets loose, well, that's my ass, you know what I mean?"
I understand. Here, tell you what. You look after our turtles. We'll go do the rites. We'll get out of your hair. You can go get a beer.
And I think stepping from the north is, I do, I think. Oh, no, wait, that's not her. Yeah, that's it. Never mind. Yeah, so stepping from the north, you guys see a couple more guards come in. Are they? Oh, no, they're just on the thing. Okay. Yeah, you see a couple more guards come in and start to sort of ask, "Oi, what's this I'm hearing about some turtles?" And this guy seems like he's got somewhat more like fancier armor than the rest of them, who are just like normal guards.
Yeah, we see, as part of our religious rites, we're supposed to be taking care of these turtles, but honestly, it's a bit of a pain in my ass. You want to hold him?
Where's Gregory?
What's that again?
Where's Gregory?
Oh, Gregory's got the shits.
Has Gregory got a turtle?
I assume so.
Okay, I would like a luck check. I feel like this can kind of go one of two ways. And I would just like a raw luck check. Somebody give me high or low, and then somebody roll a d100 here.
Who wants it?
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want her to roll? Go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Sweet. Oh.
Ooh.
No.
He squints his eyes. He says, I hate turtles.
Well, we can get him right on out of here. Jerome! And I just toss my turtle to Roz.
Yeah, Roz is going to attempt to catch the turtle?
Okay, make...
I mean, you're not far away.
I'm just going to say you can catch the turtle.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you make a roll. You can just catch the turtle.
Roz is going to catch the turtle, and in that moment, can Roz and Silas, communicate with eye stuff briefly? What's the vibe? What's the vibe? Does Roz have permission to do hijinks?
Okay, here's what I'm going to ask for the communication. I would like... This is going to require a couple of checks. Roz, you are going to make a performance check.
Okay.
To see if you can communicate with your eyeballs. 28. Okay, you can ask...
Oh, is a 28 gonna do it?
Yeah, I think the 28's gonna do it. You can use your eyeballs to communicate a complicated question to Silas. I'm gonna give you. Let's do it like what is that spell? Like sending 25 words or less.
Do you want me to cast sleep on these bozos before they accidentally screw with our turtles in a way I cannot forgive them for?
Okay, that's close enough. Okay, so now, Silas, with a 28, I'm not going to make you make an insight check. You just get that Roz is asking you with her eyes, do you want me to cast magic at these guys before they mess with our precious, sweet little baby turtles?
Yeah, no.
Okay, now, Silas, I'm going to need you to make a performance check.
Okay.
To see if you can communicate the right information to Roz.
I'm actually better at this than I'd expect. 23.
23. Okay, I'm not going to call for a roll. So this moment of just pure communication, Silas, you have 25 words or less that you can communicate back to Roz.
Yeah, it's going to be less. No.
Or less. I'll take or less for 500, Alex. Okay, so
amazing.
And he says, you're not bringing them turtles in here, and you ain't leaving them neither.
That's fine. Somebody can wait outside. Which one of you wants to hold the turtles for a minute?
I shall hold them.
Well, that seems to fix the problem right there.
Right. Fair enough. And they sort of trickle back into the room, turtle problem having been solved. And then the guy in the front says, right, well, you'll have to sign in then.
Right.
Okay, so
Merton Aloysius will have to just sign X's. Only 4 of us can write.
Right. Yeah, so you guys go to sign in. And then he comes and unlocks one of these side doors and directs you in. And says, right, he says,
is it just me and Solomon?
So far, you two, I guess, are the ones inside. Roz said she would wait outside. I don't know no one else has told me anything they're doing, so.
I'm happy for anybody to follow, but whoever got to wait outside got to hold on to all these turtles.
Well, Perdita will follow, of course. She was just standing outside trying to catch her breath.
Should somebody Should somebody stay with Roz?
Well, I
Oz
can
is
if you think it
fine.
would
I
be
mean-
better.
Okay.
I don't know if I should try to sleight of hand a turtle into this room.
We have a druid, so we can do that on our own.
Perfect. The old, oh no, my turtle got loose trick.
Okay.
Or classic.
So-
Does the guard watch us discard all our turtles, or can we try to sleight of hand them in? Because I would like to try to sleight my turtle in, unless the guy can count.
I mean, so you'll have to beat his perception, you know. So if you want a sleight of hand and get your turtle in, you can make a sleight of hand check, and he'll make a perception check, and we'll see whether or not he notices your turtle.
All right. Well, Perdita's going to try to get her turtle in. No, she's not.
Okay, so he's gonna
Now,
roll
what is he going to roll?
a perception check.
Natural 1.
Oi,
Oh,
you there?
This is the most perceptive, like,
This
prison
guard,
of all
man.
time.
He has
says
all
that.
eyes on the turtles.
He says,
So
"Oi,
laser focused.
is that a turtle I see in your ends?"
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was praying. I forgot. And she turns around and hands her turtle to
Bloody
Roz.
priests! Ain't never
And she
met them all.
says, and may you have a blessed day.
Ain't never met a more lion pack of priests in my entire life.
I
You
guess
know, they don't send the best ones in to pray for the condemned. It's kind of a punishment.
Well, what did Gregory do to deserve all this? He seems like right the nice fellow.
He can't hold his water, and sometimes he messes his uniform. But don't tell that I told you that; it would embarrass him.
Oh, the poor guy.
We don't want to hurt his feelings.
He loves turtles.
Fair enough. Okay, and let's
I
see.
guess I'm gonna try and sleight of hand a turtle in.
Don't
Okay.
forget you have Bardic Inspo.
16. He notices your
Okay.
turtle.
What?
Bard-
Hold on.
Bard-
Oh wait, you've got
Bardic.
Bardic. You've got Bardic. That's right.
What is it?
It's a D8.
Yeah.
7. He does not notice your turtle. So Solomon, hiding a turtle in your breastplate, is able to sneak it through. While he's busy berating Perdita about her turtle, you just like, okay. And then he turns and let's see. Yeah, he opens the door. Oh, nope, stop it. I want that. Yeah, okay. He turns and opens the door and walks down the hall. There's an open door you can kind of see a little bit, and he calls out one of the guards and says, let's see, what room is that? Number 3. And he says, "Oi, Aberforth, get out of here." And this, let's see, is he on GM layer? He is. Okay, I'll just put all these guys on the regular layer now. You can see them. And this other guard comes out and says, yes. And he says, these priests are here to talk to the prisoners. Normal thing. He sort of hands over a big heavy key ring and kind of turns around and muscles his way past. And then Aberforth sort of comes down to the end of the hallway and gestures at you, you folks, and says, all right then, you lot with me.
I'll follow close behind.
Okay.
I'll follow as well.
And you can see there are, so there's a door to the north and a door to the south. right inside this hallway. Then he came out of this other door to the north. You can see further down there is another door, another 2 doors north and south. You can see a little bit in this window that appears to be a guard station where they kind of look out. And he begins to walk down the hallway. Oop, I have too many people. He begins to walk down the hallway. And as he passes this little window, he says to the other guards, "They got some more of them priests in here. I frankly don't know why they..." Nope, sorry, that's not him. He says, "They've got more of these priests in here. I frankly don't know why they bothered to send them. These fools are going to the hells if there ever was one." And he sort of makes his way all the way down to the end of this southern hallway. You see another door over here to the right. And you can see that there are some gates that close off the hallways here where these things are, and that the guards on the inside open them for you and then close them off behind you. And then he sort of points you down this way to the cells.
Okay.
And says, "Right, do your business in here."
Okay.
And from there, you can see that each of these, there are 12 small cells. Some of them are empty. And they each contain a chamber pot and a mattress. And then there are a couple of different folks. So you can see, let's see. There's a couple of just like commoners and common bandits. You can see there is, who is this guy? What's his name? You see this half-elf man. Actually, I think I have, hang on, I think I have a handout for him. Bedegar NPC, Bedegar jail.
We see Roz back in the reception area chanting while holding 5 turtles.
Yeah, so you see this half-elf man has kind of dark skin and this sort of like spiky hair that's kind of slicked back. He's sort of sitting in the cell, hands over his knees a little bit, just kind of stares up at you sullenly. Do you continue on down the hallway, or?
Yeah, I'm looking for honey.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just have I put all the are these guys? Yeah, they are. Okay. So the people you see this half-elf man with the dark hair and the brown eyes. You see this halfling who has blonde hair and a little goatee. He's very pale. You see this.
Why is he looking up at me like that?
He needs your help. You see. You see this sort of night elf woman, and you see someone you would recognize to be Zola Honeycutt. Zola is a woman with sort of bluish fading to red hair and these quite striking eyes. You also can tell that she has been beaten quite badly. She's got like a black eye. Her knuckles and hands are bruised. She's got like a bruise on her leg. Clearly had a pretty rough run-in with the guards here.
Solomon
Poor
is going
thing.
to...
I have a question,
Sorry.
Monsieur le DM.
Okay.
Having worked with the clock during the 9-month hiatus, do I recognize these other people as members of the clock?
You, let's see. Let me look at these folks.
While you're checking that out, Solomon quickly hands Silas the turtle.
Okay. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna have you make a luck check, bonus mom, as to whether or not you ran into any of these folks.
Okay, what's a luck check?
You're going to roll a D100. So first tell me high or low.
Well, Normark wanted it to be high a while ago, so I'll go with high.
Okay, and then roll a D100. 61.
It
Okay,
was
that'll work.
successful.
Yes,
Thank you,
you
Normark,
recognize
from the chat.
you recognize this gentleman to the south as Tusik Funnyfingers, who is an agent of the clock.
Well, what I'm going to do then, while everyone is just milling around, is I'm going to step up to one of the other things where somebody is and act as though I am praying and nod to the person. And I might even say, I must pray for these poor prisoners. Okay. But then I'm going to move towards him and make eye contact, hopefully.
So, Perdita, I want you to tell me which one of these cages you're going to nod at, because it might matter.
Well, all I'm doing is the first, and I can't see. I'm sorry, wherever I am, I cannot see in any of the cages.
Yeah, okay. It's fine.
Okay, so where is Tusik?
Tusik is in the one to the south. Tusik is here.
Well, I will move up to, I'll just go ahead and move to 2-6 if I can do that, because I can move to my own people, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're not in combat, so it doesn't really matter if you're in the same space.
So, and I said, I must pray for these poor prisoners, and I will try to make eye contact with him as if to, and you know, let me pray for you. I might even reach a hand out, but the eye contact is to see. I might let a little bit of my hood back so he could see me. A, does he recognize me? And B, does he move towards me?
Yeah, I think he does. I think because you rolled high enough that you recognize him, which means to me you probably did like a job with him or something. So,
well, what I'm going to attempt to do is to sleight of hand him whatever in my thieves' tools I think would help him to open his own cage. You see what I'm getting at? The message.
Yeah, I do. Make an insight check.
All right. As I make eye contact with him, I'm taking a moment for an insight check. And 6. I get a 6.
Okay. He takes it.
All right. And then I will step away and move to another one.
Okay. I'll say you don't. So that is, and you can take this back if you want, because you won't be able to pick any locks without what you just handed him. You don't have 2 sets of thieves tools. So it's either your rake or your pick or both, you know, so you gotta.
Oh.
It's not like you can just hand out bits of stuff and people could pick a million locks. Like, you have one set of things that picks locks. And if you give him parts of it, you won't be able to.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I really wouldn't want to do that. All right. Well, I guess I'm just going to pray for him and make eye contact so maybe he knows something's getting ready to happen.
Okay.
Could I do that?
Yeah, sure. So he'll whisper, Are you here for Zola?
In Thieves' Cant, covering up as though she is praying, Perdita is going to say yes.
Okay. He responds in Thieves' Cant and says, I'll help if you can get me out of here.
Perdita begins to hum and try to, in her mind, repeat a few of the motions that Roz did out in the part of the thing. And then, you know, she's going to kind of attempt to try to pick his lock herself.
Okay. Sure, make a... let's see. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to ask for is a stealth check to see how well you can hide this from the guards. Okay.
Well, I got the 15.
He's probably because he probably is not. I'm gonna give him disadvantage on this because he normally doesn't have to watch this all too carefully. Like this is a pretty routine thing. Okay. So for now, the guards do not notice. Go ahead and make a thieves' tools check. You are trying to beat a DC 18, and if it asks you for the skill, you want to use dexterity. If you click it and nothing happened, there's probably a window underneath your character sheet that's asking you what stat you want to use, and you want dexterity.
No, I must not. Wait a minute. I think I hit it. I clicked it in the wrong place.
Yeah, you want the proficiency, which is in the left side under your skills and languages and all that. There's a box that should say Thieves' Tools.
And I'm using which one? Dexterity?
She has advantage, right? Because she's
I rolled
proficient.
a 15. What did you say I needed to roll?
You needed an 18, and she doesn't have advantage. She's proficient with Thieves' Tools, so she gets to add proficiency. So yeah, you struggle with the lock for a minute, but you're just not able to get it open, it seems.
He's a thief. Can't he help me? Probably not.
Not without tools, no.
All right.
Okay.
Well.
So Solomon, this guy sort of like scrambles up to the edge of the prison cell and says,
"Oh, oi, you there? You don't look like the normal priest, do you?"
Solomon continues to say nothing, but he stares at him.
So my name's Dimple. They imprisoned me for stealing from the Star Chamber. I can help you get in there. I know they got lots of good stuff in there. I couldn't get in myself, but I've got magic and things in there if you want it.
Can I hear any of this?
Make a perception check.
This will go
Solomon's gonna
4.
No, you are a little too distracted by Zola Honeycutt moving up to the bars to talk with you.
While she moves forward, I'm actually going to lean back to Shanty, make eye contact, and say, "Margaret, could you give us a song for the last rites?"
Well, all right. And she's going to pull out her pan flute, which she's still kind of fumbling with because we're very new in our bardic journey, and kind of like play a few notes, hopefully.
Sure, make a performance check.
Can do.
Also, Anna, what are you doing during all this?
I actually want to go up to the to Twilight, the elf girl person.
Sure, I'll just we'll move her up as well.
Yeah,
22. Yeah, Shanty, you play. What kind of song is it? Is it a happy little tune? Is it a mournful dirge? Is it a solemn hymn? What do you got? What does Shanty have on deck?
Solemn hymn.
You got like a
hopefully very loud,
a very very loud squeaky pan flutes.
Okay.
Solemn hymn.
Okay. So the pan flute starts. But let's take these interactions kind of one at a time. So Solomon, this little halfling squeaked up to you. You continued to say nothing. He offered to tell you information about how to get into the Star Chamber.
Solomon would like to relay that to Silas if possible.
Yeah, if you
whisper it
want.
in my ear if you want.
Yeah, I'll whisper it in his ear about Dimple.
Okay, and then while you're whispering, Anna, Twilight comes up and says, kind of looks very. So I guess you approach the cell, and she kind of comes up and looks at you, and sort of cocks her head to the side. Do you say something, or do you wait for her to talk?
Anna is just gonna stare at her, because she's kind of entranced by her because she kind of looks like her, but she is obviously different. So I'm gonna wait for her to talk because I don't want to like scare her.
Yeah. So she kind of comes up and says,
So
I've never seen an elf priest in here before.
I've never seen an elf behind bars before.
Yeah, well, that's, guess that's what I get from stealing from these, humans.
Anna kind of nods her head, and she says, "Stealing's good." She's kind of like, she's just very like distracted by the way that she looks. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you're an odd elf. Hey, listen, I know things. If you guys can help me get out of here, I can tell you stuff.
Stuff. Okay.
Seriously? We'll get me out of here?
Yes, as long as you don't hurt me or my friends. We have turtles and we have to take care of them.
What the fuck?
just trust me.
Okay. At this point, Roz, make an animal handling check.
Oh my god, no! Please don't drop a turtle!
I'm going to burn my chat inspiration.
Save the fucking turtles, baby.
Yes.
Let's
19.
19.
Wow.
Okay. With a
Amazing.
19, you are able to wrangle the turtles. You do not lose any in the process of how long you're waiting. Okay,
Good,
so
good.
Anna has agreed to jail bust Twilight. Silas, you've been told that this Dimple guy says he has information about the Star Chamber, and Zola Honeycutt sort of like saunters up to the bars and says, right, well, you don't look like the normal priest that comes around here.
Well,
You got the time, sir?
in fact, do you have the time?
God damn it, Willoughby. You gotta tell people the call sign. Fuck. Willoughby send you.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I need to know.
In case he doesn't tell you, the answer is, I don't know, but the clock is always ticking.
Good to know.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Not the time
I
to
need
be
to know how
hung up on.
important. I need to know how important the rest of these people are.
I ain't leaving without Funny Fingers. He's 2 cells down.
Shit. I was only told about you. We'd planned on one.
Well, that he don't tell people about the call sign. He don't tell people about all who's got to be sprung. It's lucky for him he's a good fucking sneak, because otherwise he'd be useless as piss in a wine cup.
I can get you out pretty much without hassle, but if we try to get both of you, it's going to be a full-on fight.
She sort of looks at her extremely bruised knuckles and kind of like cracks her neck and says, I mean, I ain't no stranger to, fucking up guards.
Okay. I am going to pull a dagger and put it through the bars and give it to her.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check or a stealth check, whichever you prefer.
Stealth, please.
Okay.
15.
All right. We're going to have a stealth or perception with disadvantage. Again, that we've established the guard's not paying terribly close attention to all this. Disadvantage is an 8, so that is not going to beat your 15. So you slip Zola Honeycutt a dagger. Let me go find her stat sheet and add that. Bedegar NPCs.
I would like to do a perception check to see if I noticed that.
Sure, make a perception check. Okay, she does have dagger on there. Great. 11, you did not. Unless you want to burn inspiration.
Well, I'm just, I only have one inspiration, so
Yeah.
I must be very careful, not knowing
So
what
yeah,
is
you
happening.
would have had to beat his 15 to notice it. So
All right.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Solomon and whisper in his ear while Shanty's song is going on. How many do you think we can take?
Well, if we do it right, can Solomon try to recall if he's seen any that could like maybe cast spells? Any of the guards?
I will just tell you, no, you've not seen anyone that can cast spells currently.
If we do it right and play our cards right, we should be able to take all of them.
You have currently seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've seen 9 regular guards and 2 guards who look somewhat more combat capable. There were 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 rooms that you didn't 4 or 5 rooms you did not get a good look in.
It looks like we need to get 2 of people out. Our turtle plan's not going to work.
So, Enna, you hear that they're getting 2 of the people out.
Okay, wait. Play it back again. So Solomon and
Solomon
Silas.
and Silas are talking. Shanty is singing, but you hear Silas say that they need to get 2 of them out.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to Silas and say, I want to get this elf out. So that's gonna be 3 people.
Okay.
You see this. You see this elvish woman just sort of like standing, staring at the bars.
Who are you? Are you with the clock?
No.
What can you do?
I know things.
What do
She
you know?
knows things.
Well, if I tell you everything I know, then you don't have any reason to take me out of here.
Give me a hint so I have a reason to get you out.
Fine.
She knows things.
I know about the Elgin Whites.
Fuck.
I'm getting her out. You can't stop me.
I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just trying to do this smart.
Okay, Shanty, make another performance check because by now the first song is over and you're having to either improvise or come up with a new solemn hymn to play.
Excellent.
21. Okay. Yeah. Still cranking. I think at this point maybe you've taken like one of the sea shanties from the ship and you've just like changed the presentation of it to make it Solomon hymn like.
Just like slowed it down.
Yeah. Slow it
Made it
down.
a minor key.
In a minor
The real
key.
words are like super dirty, but
Yeah.
you know, like you don't play those through a pan flute.
Right.
I don't.
Like a
Okay,
sailor's term.
so while she's doing that, Perdita wants to start to continue to act as though she's praying at each cell.
Okay.
And she's going to take out her flask of oil and she's going to anoint the bars of each cell. And in
Okay.
the doing of that, she wants to try another thieves' tool check
Okay.
on Funny Finger's cell.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and roll it. Well, first we'll have you do the stealth check again.
Okay.
I know it's a
stealth.
lot of checks, guys, but we'll.
Well, surely to God, I can get something that's a decent roll. Aha!
Hey.
23,
Okay, 23 on your
stealth.
stealth. So I don't think he can't catch you on that, even with 4 and 5. So still not paying attention. Go ahead and roll that thieves tools check.
Okay. I got to find it. Okay, please, Lord. Well, I thought I clicked it.
There might be a thing behind asking you about dexterity.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. It's the thing behind. Okay, I got to close this.
They really
and
should
it's
put those on top, but,
dexterity.
you know, whatever.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
you're just-
I'm going to burn my inspiration.
Okay.
That's it. I mean,
Sure.
it's all or nothing here. F it, right?
You
Yep.
got it.
Okay, so I'm doing thieves' tools again.
Yeah.
Using my chat inspiration.
It's a tough roll. You're trying to.
I rolled another 11.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Tusik leans forward, seeing you struggle so much with this, and just says, "Listen, you can get the keys off the guards. Probably not ideal, but that might be what we're stuck with."
All right, I'll try. Okay, so Perdita
Okay.
is going to do something. Give her
Yeah.
a minute to think.
No,
She's
that's
gotta
okay.
have
So with a
minute.
minute to think, I think that's where I'm going to leave us. We have a tense situation here, friends. We have our heroes bundled up in this hallway. We have several people who are imprisoned here, trying to get our heroes to jailbreak them. Currently, we have promises of aid from Tusik Funny Fingers. Zola Honeycutt is obviously the target of this mission. We have Twilight, the elf woman, who has said she can give them information about the Elgin White. And we have this little halfling man, Dimple, who says he can give them information about the Star Chamber. We have Perdita struggling to open any of the locks. We have Shanty playing her heart out on the pan flute. And we have Roz standing just outside the front door, or just outside the main area with a box full of turtles doing weird throat singing noises, friends. And that is where we're going to leave it. Will our heroes be able to successfully get these people out and somehow sneak them past the guards, or knock the guards out and get rid of them? Who knows? Find out next time on the next exciting episode of the Regent of Bedegar, friends. So yeah, that is going to be our session today. What a wild ride. Turtles. So many turtles.
I love that you rolled exactly 6.
Yeah, that
One
was
for
very
each
funny.
of us.
It's great.
Hopefully everyone
turtles.
liked the turtle woman.
Oh, I
Very
hope we
much.
see her again. Honestly,
Please.
Yes, we need a side
We need like
episode
a
with
she's
her.
gonna have like a divorce celebration in the town square when you guys are done.
Oh,
Yes.
And okay, well, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. As usual, we are going to go through and remind you of who we are and where you can find us on the internet, if indeed we can be found on the internet. And in the meantime, if someone would please help me out and find us somebody to raid on ye old twitch.television. I don't know who's live right now that we
I
could
think
go and
we
raid.
should raid VP.
We could raid our boy VP.
Well, but RPD Degenerates is actually playing Dungeons
We
and
could
Dragons.
go, yeah, we could raid role-playing degenerates.
They are very supportive of our efforts.
Yeah, we've rated Vincent a bunch, as much as he's my dear friend, and I would love to raid him. I think I agree with Bonus Mom on this. We're going to raid Vincent Page. In the meantime, Bonus Mom, please tell them who you are, where you can be found, and who you played
I
tonight.
am Bonus Mom. I am Pixel's mom, and all of these folks' other mom, and I am anyone in chat's bonus mom. You can find me almost anywhere. Be careful when you go out to check the mail. You never know. I can be found on Twitch and on TikTok and podcasting everywhere. And next Friday night, I'll be doing something interesting. We don't know yet. Maybe I won't. Maybe it'll be Pixel. We will not have Curse of Strahd. And you are all delightful, and this has been a riot. Thank you so much.
Huzzah. Also, since you mentioned it, we won't have Curse of Strahd next Friday. We will have Curse of Strahd next Saturday instead, due to a scheduling thing. So, Kyla.
Hey friends, I'm Kyla. I've been playing Shanty, our Water Genasi druid / bard, and I'm all over the internet. And I can usually be found under the handle in chat, which is Kai2D2. Thanks for
Huzzah.
hanging.
And
Huzzah.
Daniel.
I am Daniel. I can be found in the Age of Honor server, or the Bonus Mom Tavern, as it is called now. And I'm playing Solomon, and as always, it's a great pleasure to play D&D with these fine folks.
Huzzah. Beast.
Huzzah! I am Beast. I played Iskers, and I was very, very fortunate to gain 6 turtles, and many of you as dear friends. So
Yes, shout out to Snowball, Penelope, Nippy, Shelton, Raphael, and Edward Arrington V.
And Arrow, who is going to...
And Arrow. Arrow, who is taking Nippy's existence quite personally. Jesse.
A long ass fucking time ago in a town called Bedegar, humble Count Silas and his cats and something else. I don't know. Anyway, I've been Silas. Thank you very much for having me. I can't wait for 2 weeks from now.
Excellent. And where can you be found on the internet, if indeed you can be found on the internet? YouTube.com/SpectroSofas is where I can be found. We just released our sneak peek for episode 14 of the Naruto Abridged series we've been doing. So you can check that out whenever you're free, whenever you're done watching all of Bonus Mom and Pixel content. You can come see me over there. Huzzah! And Taylor. Oh, you moved. Uh-oh, Beast moved you. Beast, get back in your box, Beast.
I swear.
Shoo.
Okay, Taylor, now that your face is back in the right place, who are you? Where can we find you? What's that?
I'm Taylor. I play Enna, the Wood Elf cleric. Not really anywhere on the internet thus far, but maybe soon. But I've had a great time tonight. It was such a good session. So glad we got some turtles, and Enna has 2 pets now. She's really doing such a good job. I mean,
2
this
pets,
is amazing.
and at least one of them maybe hates the other.
At least, yes. Yeah, at least one can talk. The other one just...
Yeah. Although if you gave the turtle the brain force, he might be able to talk.
I don't know. His shell might implode. I don't know.
Fight over it. Anyway, hi folks. I'm Pixel. I'm the GM here at Ages of Ainur for most of our current shows, and you can find me GMing here. You can also find me administrating our Discord, where we play Dungeons and Dragons. If you like Dungeons and Dragons and feel like you don't get to play enough, come join our Discord. There are some new DMs who should be posting their first game soon. I try to run one shots in there like once a quarter whenever I can. Honestly, these campaigns keep me pretty busy, but I do try to make sure that I keep my hand in there to run things from now and again. And if you are interested in becoming a DM or a player with us, just pop in the server and let us know, and we'd love to see what we can do to get you set up. I run this campaign on Fridays, and then on alternate Fridays, I run our Curse of Strahd game, although next week, that will actually be on Saturday. We might have something going on Friday. We might not. Who knows? TBD on that. We'll let you know in the Discord. Hey, that's where you can find all our stuff. You also can find all of our old content on YouTube. If you have enjoyed this and missed previous episodes, you can find the whole adventure that preceded this one, where 4/6 of the people on screen were in it. You can go find that under the Siege of Castle Rend in our thing on Discord, or you can watch old episodes of Curse of Strahd as well as Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There's a lot of stuff on there. Go watch it. And you can find me on here at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel, where I play video games and talk about video games and philosophy and economics and a whole bunch of shit I shouldn't talk about in stream, but I do anyway, because I'm a maverick, baby. Anyway, that all having been said, we are going to go raid our friends Role-Playing Degenerates. They are some fellow TikTokers that Bonus Mom knows. They are playing a live game of Dungeons and Dragons, and as I am wont to do, I would like to remind you to do me a favor, and please be just a little bit kinder to yourself than you think you deserve, because I promise that it still is not close to being more than what you actually deserve, friends. So we're going to sign off. We're going to go raid our friends, and we will catch you later. We'll do the raid after the outro plays, so stick around for a couple minutes, and then we're going to do that raid. Peace.
Bye.
Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rents asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on. Let me victory.